Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Hughes.
And I'm Bobby Trippett.
And today we're going to be talking about 1981's Enter the Ninja.
Let's have a cockfight!
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Spooky ain't got no real poetry.
Hello, Mr. Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
You could have lived decent once in a while. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creepy.
Hughes, you always complain about it, so what do you want to start the episode with today?
What do you mean?
I thought you were going to say, let's take a listen to the trailer.
That's how you're going to start it? Usually you give a little bit of background and then you go into the trailer. You go like, oh, this movie is this, and this, and this, and then let's take a listen to the trailer.
There it is. We got it. Thank you very much, Chris Hughes.
The first martial art to sweep the modern world was jiu-jitsu, closely followed by the discipline of karate. Then we were taught to combine the spiritual with the physical by the masters of kung fu. And now, the Cannon Group is proud to introduce the practitioner of the oldest and ultimate martial art, the ninja. Enter the ninja.
This gold is your license as a master of ninjutsu.
Starring Franco Nero, exploding into action as Cole, the White Ninja.
Give him a message for me.
Yeah?
I don't like to be followed.
I love it here. It's become my home. And nobody is going to drive us away.
Susan George as the proud and beautiful Marianne, a strong-willed woman who knows what she wants and just how to get it. And introducing Sho Kosugi,
Kampai! Kampai!
Hasegawa, the black ninja, born of samurai blood, is unable to accept anything but the ancient ways.
You did not drink Hasegawa.
He is no ninja.
It's the land code. They want to take it away from us.
Bitter and merciless, this rogue ninja will stop at nothing to destroy any and all who cross his path. Ninja, hired assassins, trained killers, masters of the most deadly art known to man. If you take on a ninja, no matter how many you are, be prepared for the consequences. Enter the Ninja from Canon.
Oh my god, it ends with a title that says a Menahem Golem film.
Oh.
Like, people would know what that means.
It's a symbol of quality.
Oh, speaking of which, this is a Cannon Group movie. Welcome back, Cannon. We've only had your one movie, I think, actually.
We've only had one Cannon movie?
That is shocking.
Which I think
I would have gotten that trivia question wrong.
The Mexican Vacation for Bronson?
No, that wasn't a Cannon movie. Remember, that was Colombia.
That weren't Cannon.
Yeah, we did the Kinjite episode was a Cannon movie, but I don't think Cannon's appeared in this podcast since, which is
sure it will
shocking.
Again, but hey, welcome back.
Yes, Enter the Ninja, the first part in a 3-part series from Cannon Group on ninjas, not to be confused with their other series called American Ninja. This is Enter the Ninja, which was followed by Revenge of the Ninja and eventually Ninja 3 The Domination, which is by far the most popular in terms of bad quality movies.
And like any good trilogy of films, none of them are related to each other.
Nope.
Perfect.
They do, in fact, feature ninjas. That's about as far as we need to go.
Now, guys, what do you think the budget was on this movie?
Oh, that's hard to say.
$50,000.
Wow.
I'm gonna go. It was 81, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. 30.
1.5 million.
What?
Bullshit. Where?
$1.5 million to make this movie.
You're
now
shitting
Cannon
me.
Group
In 81 money.
Cannon Group does not make that cheap of movies. They make cheap movies, but their budgets, they use up every dollar of it. And I think it shows in this movie because even though it's a terribly cheesy movie, the camera work is very good.
Is Franco's mustache made of gold?
Well, they did hire Franco Nero, who I'm sure didn't work cheap when you hear how they got him to be in the movie. I'm sure it was a kind of a ransom type of thing. The box office, though, they won't tell us. So I'm assuming it made money, or else why would they make two more of them? But the Cannon Group is notorious. The best documentary you can watch is Electric Boogaloo.
Great doc.
Then the guys who run the Cannon Group made their own documentary called The Go-Go Boys when they found out that another documentary was coming out about them, and they're like, we'll beat them to the punch and make our own.
I have not seen the Go-Go Boys.
It's not as good. It's basically... no, it's very self-congratulatory, patting themselves on the back, being like, aren't we great?
Oh, those are the best. So Cannon made a propaganda film?
Yeah, about Cannon Films.
That's fantastic.
And they're notoriously hard to find. Even if they're like barely available on DVD or Blu-ray, they are difficult to find.
There was a pretty nice box set of Cannon films that came out with the documentary Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
I'm trying to remember what all
track
was in
that
there.
one down.
I think Over the Top's one of them.
Because all of them you got to buy individually.
Over the Top was
like
a Cannon film?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's directed by the same director as this.
That was a good movie.
We'll get into it here.
Broken clocks right twice a day.
This movie combined with a Chuck Norris movie, The Octagon, were two very successful movies in the same year. Now, apparently The Octagon came out slightly before this movie, but they both dealt with ninjas, which started the ninja craze in America, which spawned dozens and dozens and dozens of ninja movies.
It swept the nation, and millions of dads in their basements were suddenly trying to do roundhouse kicks.
It must
can
have
tell you that from
lasted
personal
like
experience.
15 years, right?
And it started with this movie.
This started it.
Yes, this and a
started
Chuck Norris
from
movie.
like all the Steven Seagals, all the three ninjas, the
Yes.
sidekicks,
That is a ripple effect from this movie.
all the way until it ended with Chris Farley's ninja movie.
With Beverly Hills Ninja.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
That was the final word
That was
on the ninja.
that was the last
on the
one.
ninja craze. That was the period at the end of that sentence.
Yes, this movie spawned a ton of ninja movies.
That's why, as you heard in that trailer, they're spending a long, long time explaining what the hell a ninja is.
Now, this was a big success because a lot of people saw it and it was very popular. However, the quality of the movie, the camera work is great. The lighting's good. The set pieces are good. The
Audio's fine.
Yeah, but the movie itself, wow.
Yeah.
On the Wikipedia page, which I was like, is this written by Golan? There was a part where it says, the movie was received very favorably by critics at the time. And I'm like, was it really? Because I can't find any original reviews for this movie. I searched Roger Ebert, LA Times, New York Times, nothing. Nobody
Bring out the
reviewed it.
microfilm and try to find it.
We got to hit the public library. We're going to get to the bottom of this, gang.
This movie was mostly shot in the Philippines, but was shot partly in Japan, actually. There were a few scenes shot in Japan. But it was the only ninja movie they made in this trilogy that was shot out of America, because the rest of them were just shot in the U.S.
Huh. Man, you got to think that back in that time period in the early 80s, like the Philippines was just lousy with film crews. Like every block must have had some film.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that, because we'll get into how Franco Nero appears in this movie, and it might be a case of
he
that.
appears inebriated.
Okay, so originally, now we get into the background of the crew, and this movie has a long story on how it eventually got made. This movie was originally supposed to be directed by a man named Emmett Alston, who directed 1980's New Year's Evil for Golden Globus.
That's a pretty great movie.
You might hear about that one soon.
Yeah.
He was taken off of this movie in a combination of events. One, Golan thought that the first 3 days of the dailies he got were boring, is what he claims.
What part of this movie would he have considered boring?
Well, Bobby, the second reason is because apparently, now this seems much more realistic to me. Golden and Globus, the owners of the Cannon Group, bought the Cannon Group, and they wanted to make American films, and they wanted to make American action movies, and this was one of the scripts that was part of the Cannon Group. It was not one that they bought themselves. It was originally there when they bought the company, and they wanted to become big American film producers. They're Israeli. He wanted to direct Death Wish 2, and Charles Bronson said no.
Oh.
He apparently refused to let Golan direct
Ouch.
Death Wish 2. So he said, fine, I'll go direct Enter the Ninja, and kicked the director off the project and said, it's mine now.
Imagine there was a big blow up where he's like, "You're dead to me, Bronson. You're dead."
I mean, I'm going to make a lot of money on you, but still, you're dead to me.
As he's buying his plane ticket to the Philippines.
Fuck you, but also thank you, because you're going to
Appreciate all
bankroll.
you've done for us.
You and the other Chuck are going to bankroll our company for the next 10 years.
But P.S. Go fuck.
The director is Menahem Golan, one of the owners of the Cannon Group. We've covered his background before, I believe, on Last American Virgin. Oh, that was another Cannon movie. So we've had 2 Cannon movies on here. He is one of the main guys behind Cannon Films. He directed 47 movies himself, including this, 1980's The Apple, 1986 Delta Force, 1987 Over the Top,
Yes.
and 1989 Mac the Knife, as well as many, many more. Now, have you seen Mac the Knife? Apparently it's a Jack the Ripper movie.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Never heard of it. I wrote it down because I thought if anybody, maybe Bobby knew about it.
You know, honestly, I heard you say that, and I thought of Mac Tonight, the former McDonald's spokesperson with the moon for a head.
Yeah, actually, that's the movie, is that the Moonhead guy goes around and he's Jack the Ripper.
I am sold.
It was supposed to tie in with the Big Mac. It was going to be a big deal, but...
The murder dipping sauce.
Just imagine him, like, flicking his head so that, like, his chin could take somebody out at the throat.
I want to see Mac Tonight picking up hookers. Picking up hookers in old-timey London, offering them Big Macs.
On the back of his flying motorcycle. And just dropping the bodies in the moonlight.
The writer of this movie is credited Dick Desmond. It's his only credit.
What more do you need?
Well, I'm not sure he's a real person.
I bet he's not.
The story credit for this movie is a man named Mike Stone. Now, Mike Stone is also in this movie. In fact, he was originally supposed to star in this movie. Before Golan fired him and hired Franco Nero, and we'll find out how Nero got the job in a minute here, but let's get into Mike Stone. He went on to have a small acting career and did some stunt work on other movies. In 1973, That Man Bolt, which stars Fred Williamson. It's about Fred Williamson plays a character named Bolt, and apparently he's taken a briefcase across the country or something. 1987, he was in American Ninja 2. 1987, he was in a movie Tiger Shark, which is his only starring role. Very little information about this movie. However, I have tracked down a copy of it, a very bad VHS rip of that movie, and it was directed by Emmett Alston, the original director of this movie. So it's like maybe in 1987 they're like, you know what, fuck those guys at the Cannon Group, we'll go make our own movie. But then he appeared again in American Ninja 3 uncredited. So they were like,
Sneak onto the set.
Hey, we saw that Tiger Shark movie. Fuck you. I'm taking your name out of the credits. How do you like it now, huh? Grindbin All-Star. Mike Stone has appeared on this movie before because he is the stunt coordinator for Raw Force.
Oh.
So all those wonderful fight scenes in Raw Force, you can thank the man who is the stunt double for Franco Nero in this movie.
Wow.
And had this movie stolen from him, because he was the guy apparently who originally sold the idea to the Cannon Group before Golden Globus came on, and they really just fucked everybody over with this movie.
Man, you know, Golan was known for his people skills.
I'm sure that Dick Desmond, if he is a real man, is just Golan's alter ego.
It's got to be.
Dick.
I imagine Dick Desmond's also who answers the phone when you try to call him. Oh, he's not in right now. I'll
when the lawyers call, yeah. Hello, Dick Desmond. So then we get into the cast. Franco Nero, who plays Cole. Now, it's amazing. This is the first time he's appeared on the Grindbin. He's one of the most prolific exploitation actors. He's also in very big movies.
He will no doubt appear on the Grindbin again.
Oh, for sure. He's in over 200 movies.
Jesus.
He's still going, too.
And he's currently filming and appearing in about 10 in the next year. He has been in some big Hollywood movies, such as Die Hard 2. Here's one you might not know. He did a voice in Cars 2.
That's fantastic.
Franco Nero.
Cars 2.
And John Wick 2. He was in that movie as well.
Oh, I wonder who he was in John Wick.
He also made a very cool cameo in Quentin Tarantino's Django, because Franco Nero is most well known for playing the role of Django, the original Django. And he does the whole thing where he's like, oh, I know how to spell the name, blah, blah, blah.
It's a pretty great scene.
Yeah.
In the screening I went to, I audibly reacted to that like a dope. Just, nerded out on that shit.
Which cameo did you like better, his or Tarantino's?
I don't need Tarantino doing cameos.
I watched that scene. I'm like, why does this guy care how it's spelled? Like, how does he know?
Like, what's the
fuck doesn't
significance?
matter?
See, that's the thing I assume. If you don't know
Yeah,
already
yeah.
that
And it
he's the
makes it
original
weird.
Django, it's a really bizarre scene.
Because it's Django. That's when he goes, the J is silent. He goes, I know.
He just came off like an asshole.
The camera just hangs on this old Italian man for
Or
no
D is
reason.
silent.
Yeah, the J is silent.
Yeah,
Django.
Django.
Yeah, Django.
Rango.
Yeah, Rango.
When he
Which
turns
you thought
that cartoon gecko's like,
Hughes infamously thinks that Rango is somehow connected to the Django universe.
Hey, I'm telling you, it is.
headcanon accepted.
I can't wait until the next Tarantino movie where Rango shows up.
They're
in
all
Django.
going to team up. It's Franco Nero, Jamie Foxx, and a cartoon gecko.
And Officer Hops from Zootopia.
He was actually noticed by a Grindbin all-star, Franco Nero, and the reason he became an actor, John Huston from Tentacles, which he'll always be known on this show. John Huston, Oscar winner and wonderful director, will always be known on this show for his role in Tentacles, one of the shining moments of his career. He'd noticed him and casted him in one of his movies as Abel in 1966's The Bible, The Beginning.
Wow.
His career really took off, though, when he landed the role of Django in the same year in 1966. He was then cast in 1967's Camelot as one of the leads opposite Vanessa Redgrave, which earned him a Golden Globe nomination, actually. And him and Vanessa Redgrave were longtime partners and eventually married in 2006. Nero was not the first choice for this movie. In fact, the stunt double Mike Stone was the original actor in this movie, and then Menahem Golan didn't think he could act, so he tracked down Franco Nero, who was in Manila at the time, and offered him the role. So basically, like, I can imagine Franco Nero about to get on a plane, and Golan and Globus running through the airport going, Mr. Nero! Mr. Nero!
Or someone has him pick up the courtesy phone at the airport and says, there's a Dick Desmond for you.
I can just see them running through with pills in their head. Mr. Nero! Mr. Nero!
Don't get on the plane!
And he's like, I'm supposed to be on vacation. And they're like, no, it's all right. We'll just dub you. You don't really have to do anything.
And he doesn't.
Yeah. Because
it's lazy.
He's the laziest.
This whole movie is dubbed. They hired Franco Nero and then never even used his fucking voice.
At all.
What was the point? He doesn't fight. Like, he doesn't do the fight scenes.
Like, you can't even say he phones it in. Like, he wrote it in. Like, he sent a letter. It's not even...
How many days on set was he?
Well, he had to be a lot because he's in the movie, but it's almost like they're like, okay, will you be in a movie? No. Will you be in a movie if you don't have to fight? No. Will you be in a movie if you don't have to fight or talk? You just have to move your lips a little bit. Okay.
By the way, what was he doing in Manila?
He was filming another movie.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, basically he's there filming a movie or on vacation.
He's got 200 credits. It's like he's always filming something.
And they tracked him down. They're like, please, will you be in this movie? He's like, yeah, whatever. So they gave him that briefcase full of Filipino cash. And he's like, yeah, I'll be in your movie. Nobody will see it. Little did he know.
A tale as old as time in these kinds of movies. Don't worry, no one will see it.
Because they said they basically dubbed him because apparently Cole originates from Texas, is what they said, and that he doesn't have an American or a Texas accent. But the guy they chose doesn't either. So I'm not sure why they did that.
Yeah, it's an odd choice to have him play a Texan, because he's about as Texan as a bowl of spaghetti on Pavarotti's grave.
And there's only one part where he has like the big belt buckle.
Yeah.
There's only one scene.
If I didn't read that, I would have never known Cole was supposed to be from Texas. I
The
mean,
mustache didn't set you off?
No.
Oh, I thought he was a cop.
It's too bad we didn't get that Franco Nero movie where he played Mario in the Mario Brothers. I could have really seen that.
Franco Nero and John Leguizamo side by side.
He would have been a better choice than Bob Hoskins. You imagine him playing the old red plumber?
I can't believe that it was Bob Hoskins.
And honestly,
such a weird choice.
if we could have a sidebar about Bob Hoskins, he gave it his all.
Oh.
Bob Hoskins was the best, and I miss him.
I was into that world, just because of him.
Oh yeah,
Leguizamo, whatever.
The big thing that hurt me was I was hoping that prior to Bob Hoskins passing away, I wanted him to play the Penguin so bad.
Oh, he would have been great. But DeVito
like a
was
proper
great.
Penguin, though, not this mutant thing like Burton did, but like a mafia don who just happens to be a short guy in a tux. Because you can picture Bob Hoskins beating somebody with an umbrella.
Yeah, it would kind of be like that movie where he kept Jet Li on a leash.
Oh, that movie's amazing. Unleashed? Jet Li's a ass-kicking dog man.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We saw that in the theater, dude.
As did I. We may have been in that very same
I think I
theater.
saw every Jet Li movie in the theater. Like,
Wow.
every single one. We were big Jet Li fans
Still
for
am.
a couple of years. And then all of a sudden, he just disappeared.
I think he was on the Forbidden Kingdom. That was on the other night.
So the next person I have, Susan George, who plays Marianne. 63 credits, a UK-born actress. If you couldn't tell by her accent, she's the only one, I guess, that's actually allowed to talk. Because now that I think about it, Frank is definitely dubbed. If not, that man has a crazy voice. So what, like they're recording audio and they're like, just keep Susan. We can't really overdub that weird British voice.
Is she the only one that's not dubbed? Because if Venarius is also dubbed, that actor...
No, I think Venarius isn't dubbed. You're right.
Because
Maybe
he sounds the
people.
same. Well, we'll get to him in a second.
So she started her career in TV before landing a role in 1967's The Sorcerers with Boris Karloff. She went on to appear in various UK productions and some B-movies until landing the starring role opposite Dustin Hoffman in Sam Peckinpah's Straw Dogs in 1971.
Excellent film.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Straw Dogs?
Nope.
Oh, it's a good movie.
I think you're actually really going to like that movie. And there's a remake that was pretty decent, too.
Is
with,
it long-form war?
No, you're big into cuckery. No, it's like the ultimate
Straw Dogs
cuck
is about
movie.
a total pacifist who enters a situation where he is forced to not be one anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a man of peace forced to
Is it on a
defend his
plane?
family.
It's like the opposite of Con Air.
It's kind of exactly like Death Wish.
It's very Peckinpah too. It's very Assault on Precinct 13, Night of the Living Dead. We're trapped in a house being sieged, and he's got to pick up arms to protect him and his. So let's just talk about Straw Dogs for the rest of the episode, can we?
This eventually landed her the role of Mary in 1974's Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, where she starred opposite Peter Fonda. She went on to star in 1975's Mandingo, and then appeared in 1975's Out of Season, which starred Vanessa Redgrave. Which I wonder if that had anything to do with her being in this movie, considering that was Franco Nero's longtime partner and eventually wife. If she was like, well, I know somebody who can act. Because I feel like the Cannon Group, especially in their early days, they're just flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah.
They're just, whatever 1.5 million can get you, they're going for it. She's still acting and is currently in post-production on 2 films, but nothing huge. There was kind of that small era in the 70s when she was in a couple big movies and then has kind of gone back to the UK. The next person I have is Sho Kasugi, who plays Hasagawa?
Black Ninja.
Hasagawa, or the Black Ninja, as you said.
Black Ninja.
He's a trained martial artist who appeared in hundreds of competitions in the 1970s, including winning the LA Open every year from 1972 until 1974. This is where he was noticed...
Every year, in 2 years.
1972, 3, and 4. This is where he was noticed... Sorry. He was noticed and cast into a minor role in a Taiwanese film called The Killers, and later a Korean production shot in Los Angeles entitled The Stranger from Korea. In 1981, he met up with a man named Mike Stone, who had pitched a script to Cannon Films called Dance of Death.
Ooh.
Then Golden and Globus bought the company, changed the name Dance of Death to Enter the Ninja.
Uh-huh.
And
Called
basically...
up Dick Desmond, got him in there.
They took Mike Stone and they're like, we don't like you, but we like your friend. In fact, we might make another movie, a sequel to this movie, with him in it.
Aw.
Because
Poor Mike Stone.
Yeah, he really got the short end of the stick. He just went on to Raw Force, and that was about it. He's sitting on the set going, hookers and rocks, hookers and rocks.
Sitting there like, I'm the Duff.
Sho went on to star in the sequel to this movie, which I just mentioned, Revenge of the Ninja, and he did appear in Ninja 3 Domination.
He's the through line. He's the real star of this series.
He would appear in a few more ninja movies in the 80s, such as 9 Deaths of the Ninja, Pray for Death, and Blind Fury. He starred opposite Van Damme in 1988's Black Eagle, and then his last acting credit was in 2009 for the movie Ninja Assassin, if you ever saw that one, which was, I believe, directed by the stunt choreographer from The Matrix.
I want to say yes. It's a good throwback, though, that movie. Someone
Yeah,
gets
Ninja
stuffed in a
Assassin's
laundry
great.
machine in that movie.
I found an unopened copy in my DVD collection like a year ago. I was like, oh yeah, somebody gave me this movie. Fired it up. It's a good watch. Okay, so the last credit I have here is Christopher George, who plays Venarius. Bobby, take it away.
Christopher George is a great actor. He's probably, outside of this film, one of the other big exploitation films he's known for is 1982's Pieces, where he plays a lead investigator trying to solve a series of murders on a college campus.
So the background for Christopher George is that he was in the Marines. He quit high school with his brother to become a Marine, which you couldn't tell from this movie.
No.
He certainly doesn't look like a tough guy.
Not in any of his films, really. But aren't those the toughest guys?
And then get this, he went on to star in a Broadway play, or like a couple Broadway plays, including Streetcar Named Desire.
Man.
So that's maybe where he gets his ninja. He landed a role in 1967's El Dorado, where he became good friends with John Wayne, and would also appear in another movie with him, 1970's Chisholm.
Who was he in El Dorado?
Oh, he would later appear in 1973's The Train Robbers with John Wayne as well. He appeared and starred in a number of B-movies and exploitation films, including 1968's Project X, 1969, The Devil's Eight, 1973, I Escaped from Devil's Island with Jim Brown. So
Sweet.
Him and Jim Brown escaping that Devil Island. 1976, Grizzly. And
That's
then
fun.
the year later, 1977, Day of the Animals. Which
Day of the Animals is great.
Christopher George is the star of that movie, and the second billed star is Leslie Nielsen.
And Christopher George gets very overshadowed in Day of the Animals because there's a scene where a shirtless and mad Leslie Nielsen fights a bear.
And this is like before Leslie Nielsen was doing comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like one of his serious roles.
The scene is dead serious.
I have that movie and Grizzly. It came in a box set. 1980, he was in The Exterminator. 1980, City of the Living Dead. 1981, Graduation Day. Then you got 1982, Pieces. And 1983's Mortuary. His last film, directed by, Grindbin all-star Howard Avedis of Scorchy and the Teacher. Christopher George passed away in 1983 at the age of 52. So, oh my God, he was 49 in this movie? Mm-hmm. He doesn't look it. I'll give him that, but Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived fast, I guess.
It's tragic that he passed so soon, because looking at that lineup of films you just said, imagine how much more he could have given us.
He would have definitely been in a Tarantino movie if he had made it to here.
No question.
So, guys, we get to the movie. We get the ninja credits.
Yeah, it's like the Bronx Warriors.
It's like chopsticks.
This is... Yeah, Hughes, you said before we started that you're upset that they used the chopstick font.
I'm not upset. I'm just pointing it out that they use chopstick font.
They're sitting at Canada Group. They go, how do we get across to people that this is Asian?
Yeah, the font belongs on a takeout box.
Yeah, actually, can you get that takeout box? We just order some Chinese food. Maybe we'll look at how they do their letters, and then we put that in the movie. They like called up the guy who does Chinese takeout boxes. Like, can you also do movie titles?
Yeah, they stole the font straight off a menu. I'm sure at one point it accidentally said Entree the Ninja.
Like Golden Globus have an intern just tracing over a Chinese menu. All right, now put it on the screen. Also, it looks like, so basically it's Bronx Warriors, like you said. Like, it's
Black
just a dark
background,
room.
just a nice high def shot of a guy.
It's almost like they just did this in the back of the office. Is what it looks like. Like, basically in Golden's office, they're like, all right, just turn off the lights. Now do some ninja moves.
And it goes on way too long.
These are the
with so
audition
many
tapes.
weapons. Oh, yeah.
Like Sho Kasugi's like, wait a second, hold on, I didn't agree to that. They're like, no. Everything we got is ours. Sorry.
Now swing this sharp thing on a rope. Move this stick around a little bit.
We just want to see how you do.
How does this thing work? What is this, a yo-yo?
So basically, we just see him like go around for a while and do moves just in the dark. Then we cut to a really, really, really long landscape shot. Like, it just goes on for a couple minutes of just panning, and then we see a white ninja standing on top of a mountain. Which, by the way, white ninja, horrible choice for a ninja outfit.
Well, you're not describing it. It's a white ninja in a white ninja uniform.
Yeah.
You know, so as a person who grew up on watching a lot of G.I. Joe, I will fight you. White is an acceptable color for a ninja.
A terrible color for a ninja, because all through whenever he's in the costume of the white ninja, he just stands out so much because all you can see is this shining light of white.
And all the bleach he goes through to get the grass stains out.
Oh, it's got to be insane.
Yeah, not a speck of dirt on this thing through the whole movie.
See, that's the weird thing. We're in the woods. You know, we're in a lot of green, and so we have a guy clad in all white fighting dudes clad in all red.
Yeah.
No, these ninjas are excellent at hiding.
But okay, so it starts with the white ninja just staring for about a minute,
pensive,
like nobody would cut. They're like, no, use all the footage. We got it for a reason. Every frame. Okay, now we cut to a black ninja just walking on screen, and also he stands for a while, and then he runs away, and a bunch of red ninjas show up. And I was like, it's nice that they're all color coded. Mm-hmm. I know who the bad guys are. I know who the good guy is. Thank you.
I know who the Expendables are.
The red ninjas,
The red shirts. They're the ones who die on the mission.
the red ninjas look for the white ninja, and he like follows them. And basically, like what we see is the white ninja like killing a bunch of red ninjas.
Do you see like this whole scene though? Like everybody has their hand on their katanas, but nobody's pulling them. They're like, I'm gonna pull it, and they're like juking it out. And like this, it's the equivalent of like going into a fight with a gun and not cocking it. Like like they're fighting. They're physically.
I might use it.
Yeah, they're fighting right now.
Don't make me draw this thing.
And for some reason, he's gonna get more power out of pulling it out of the sheath than if he just held it with 2 hands.
And
It just drove me nuts because everybody was doing it though.
How
like,
about
they're like, I'm gonna do this, and then when they get to that fucking waterfall, like they can't jump. I'm gonna jump through the waterfall. I'm gonna pull my sword out now and then jump
because it looks cooler that way. Now that's the thing. We're at this point. We are minutes in, and all we have so far is just a ninja LARP in a public park.
Yeah, and there is a part when they do light a brush fire for apparently no reason.
Where did that fire come from?
Like it didn't do anything. They didn't smoke them out. They just go over to a bush and light it on fire, and they're like, "Well, this will do something." The boss told us to light the bush, so
And this is such a LARPing expedition that it all the way down to the point where it centers on an overzealous white guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's just too into this.
You're right. We get to the waterfall. They do the whole, we jump off the waterfall. We fight each other for a while.
It's Ninja Summer Vacation.
And
we're yelling Geronimo and jumping into the ravine.
So the first kill that they do when he's running through and he unsheathes his sword and kills the guy, if you notice that the sword that they stuck into the person has like this gigantic clown-sized hilt. It's gigantic. And when he sheathes it back, there's no hilt.
Wow. I did not notice that. The Globus brothers. The Golden Globus
turned into a
very
broadsword for a second.
Yeah, the hilt and like the thickness of the sword was like an inch, half an inch or an inch thick, and then this other thing was like a 4-inch square piece around it.
He ran him through with He-Man's sword.
Give me the big novelty one. It's got to read on camera,
That's when you know you're in for it.
So I believe this is the point when our white ninja finally removes his mask.
Well, so we do get to... Wait, he removes his mask?
No, that's later, man.
No.
We're still in the jungle.
We haven't even gotten a ninja
waterfall.
bridge.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
We get a bridge, ninja bridge, where there's ninjas walking, and then he kind of goes under, and there's a guy, right, just standing there like an old man, like the Splinter of this group, okay? And he's just standing out like by the dojo or whatever the hell we're at.
Yep.
And then the white ninja just comes up and chops his head off.
Not before running through a cloud of smoke.
Oh, that's right. The one smoke bomb that goes off.
No, it was like 6.
Okay, so he does his little cha-cha-cha.
It was weird.
And then he runs up, cuts the guy's head off, right?
Mm-hmm. He bows to him first.
Cuts his head off, and then goes into the dojo and undresses.
But then we see, the white ninja goes inside, undresses, takes his mask off. It's Franco Nero.
And that's where we get the reveal of that sweet stash. And then it turns out this white ninja looks like a gym teacher that pervs on his students. You're like, Jesus, that's what this guy's going to look like?
All the ninjas come back, and they join the white ninja. So Franco Nero in the
ones that
room.
are bleeding out in the forest right now.
Okay. Well, no, there was a guy that had a board with blood on it.
There's a guy who had half his face gashed
got a big
open.
old
that too,
supervillain
but there was
slash.
a guy with that had a knife stuck in him, but it was a board. He pulled out the board, and it was faked.
So it was all... Well, he really did hurt people, give them permanent...
Yeah, some people got messed up.
They're like, hey, by the way, if you do join this school, you might get permanently disfigured. And this will happen just whenever we have a graduation ceremony, apparently. Because then the old guy comes in. The guy whose head got chopped off comes in with his own head that's a mannequin head.
Yeah. It looks like something Walter Paisley made.
I was like, so hold on. As part of the thing, that guy stood out there for a long time with the fake head on top of his head?
Yeah.
Or was it a dummy?
I think it was a dummy. I think that's why it didn't move.
Yeah, but when they
propped up.
No, but when they showed him there, it was actually a person, and just for the head cutting part is when they. Well, it's a mannequin the whole time.
This is very intricate, and basically we learn it's a graduation ceremony, and they're like, oh hey, now you're a ninja.
You get a license.
Yeah, he pulls out a Burger King scroll, and he's like, this has all the stuff that ninjas have ever done on it,
and hopefully you can add to it.
I was like, that doesn't have shit on.
Power comes from within.
Oh, by the way, a gong does sound. Don't worry, everybody. A gong sounds when the man walks in with his own head.
There is the gang signs. We get the 9 gang signs.
He's sort of
showing in the bloods,
reciting a recipe on how to make a ninja while doing these shadow puppets with his fingers.
Okay. This is when I was like going crazy in my notes, being like, wait a second, this was all a test? Some guys are permanently disfigured.
Yeah.
Like a man has half his face sliced open. He's like, hey, boss, after this, I can't go to the hospital, right? Or do we got that 3 o'clock graduation? Do I got to take part in that one too?
And Cole is remorseless, just sitting there doing, here is the church, here is the steeple. Open up the doors and kill all the people.
Eliminate
all the people.
It's all right, man. He's a West Side Ninja.
Okay, so then he gives him that shitty scroll paper, which is basically like if you ever been to a park where some guy's writing calligraphy.
It's a license to kill in Japan.
It's the same thing. You can buy them
all
at any
this time.
And he goes, this is your, he says, this scroll is your license of Master of Ninjitude.
No, I think he said ninjutsu.
No, he said Ninjitude, according to my Blu-ray copy.
I think it's ninjutsu.
Okay, I heard Ninjitude.
It's...
This scroll is your license as Master of Ninjutsu.
Master of Ninjitude, which I hope that he would put that on his fucking job application.
I can see it on LinkedIn.
Like he has a business card?
Yes, Mr. Cole, nice to have you here at FedEx. It says you're a Master of Ninjitude?
And then he pulls out his little scroll to prove it.
Oh, I guess we'll take that as, yeah, sure. Okay, that's
so now
what
it's snack time. Come pie.
Well,
Come
before he says, I did say like that scroll is like a nice pocket Bible or something that you can bring with you that has all the ninja stuff on it. It's like, just in case, if you need a little inspiration, pull it out.
Breathing exercises. Remember your 9 tenets of ninja. Mm-hmm. And
remember the hand signals.
The nine gang signs of the West Side Ninjas.
So we go to the graduation party.
It's party time.
Snack time. Come pie.
We're all going to have the drink. Cole has graduated from the Ninjitude, Master of Ninjitude.
Everyone's happy. I think they're about to bring out a sheet cake.
Oh. I thought pizza, man. There's a pizza coming out.
There's like a Domino's guy that shows up.
And there's always that one guy that's pissed nobody ordered vegetarian.
Yeah.
He's at that party.
That's Show.
Yeah, Show is definitely like, God damn it, I don't eat meat.
I was going to say, they're drinking alcohol and cheersing, and then for the rest of the movie, he won't drink alcohol.
Well, this is a special occasion, Hughes.
You
Come
have
on.
a little sake when you graduate ninja school.
Sake it to me, he's ready for it.
But yeah, I think, Show is definitely upset that the pizza doesn't have a vegetarian option.
Okay, so
he's sort of the Mr. Pink of this movie because he's the one guy being like, I'm trying to be a fucking professional here, and we're letting this white guy graduate?
Yeah, and he was also really upset they were going to tip the waitress,
No, yeah. Show doesn't tip.
So Show is the black ninja who followed him around in the beginning, and they kept they kind of fought, but they didn't. It's a little will they, won't they? The love story is really between Show and Show and Cole. So Show is the black ninja, and he won't drink. And the old guy's like, Show, why won't you drink? And he's just like, I'm not going to.
He's like, I don't know, because I'm a fucking ninja.
Yeah, like you said.
I'm not here to have a birthday party.
We're letting everybody be ninjas nowadays.
And honestly, I am on Show's side about all of this.
Really? I don't know. Like he completed all the steps. He knows the 9 steps. He's got the hand signals down like he's a ninja.
This is like a real Stewardess Academy type thing or whatever that was, where they're like, we got to have standards. We can't just let anybody be a stewardess.
We watched that opening scene. I feel they babied him. They're not pulling their swords. They're letting them slash the wood blocks on their chests.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby might be right.
Placating him like he just paid for this like a vacation experience.
Yeah, this is Eastworld.
Black Ninja has to ruin it for everybody because then he bangs the table and all the sakis fall over and they're like, oh, come on, man.
We get one drink a year.
Come on.
The guy with the new facial scar that's still healing is like, I can't just have this.
I wrote there's always one.
There's always that one person.
There's that one black ninja that spoils the party.
You having a good night? Yeah, I'm having a good night. You? No, this place sucks. Let's go. Dude, we just got here. I just found parking. Fuck
Hits
you.
the bar, everybody's drinking also. So then we go to later, right? And so Cole, okay, this is where I fucking lost it, by the way. So Cole and the old man are walking along Ninja Bridge. And I
can
noticed...
we talk about their outfits for a split second? The master is dressed like Usagi Yojimbo, the cartoon rabbit. And Cole is wearing like a bleached Canadian tuxedo. It is denim from head to toe.
Oh, it's amazing, though. Amazing. And this is when I lost it in my notes, though, because I noticed a bunch of people walking behind them, and I'm like, wait a second. They're at a public park? Like, this is in public they were doing this?
It was a LARP. The whole thing.
Near where I live in Glendale, there is like a tea house like that looks exactly like this.
Is it full of ninjas?
And I was like, maybe I should go there during the week. Maybe I'll catch a little ninja show.
You can't see a ninja; they're invisible.
That's true. You think it's gonna be like medieval times? Is that why they're color coded?
There you go.
Well, we need that, by the way. I would totally go to a dinner theater that is based on Enter the Ninja.
I'm like, hold on. There's people walking through the park while the guy ran up and sliced the man's head off, and they're just like, Japan, what are you going to do?
Happens all the time.
This park ain't what it used to be. We used to be able to walk down the street as ninjas decapitating people.
Just some kid sees it like, no. It's you'll learn about it when you get a little bit older. It's what we do around here in Japan. Cut off heads, ninja. Everybody's got the scrolls, you know.
But I like this scene that it is like setting up what we're going to see next. Like we don't usually get continuity of any kind. You get that speech of, you have to be good and you have to use your powers for good and, don't kill bad or good people. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the Philippines.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to the Philippines for a while. He's like, how long are you going? It's like, I've graduated from this school. Shut the fuck up. You don't need to know.
Don't worry about where I'm going. Yeah.
But I got my Master of Ninja, I can do what I want with it.
What do you think of if you have like a white guy going to the Philippines? Because I think of something very like...
You thought he's going to do part 2 of the graduation?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go find me whatever I can get for this $20 bill,
He didn't say like, oh, I have a friend in trouble in the Philippines. I'm going to go help out.
No, yeah, you're right. He did just say, I'm going to the Philippines.
They don't have an age of consent.
So then the next scene we see is, so Cole's really using his stuff for good because he breaks into a mansion.
Yeah, he like jumps a fence and
there's
is
this
visibly winded.
There's this gate with like a doorbell on it. I'm not going to ring that. I'm just going to, I know the people who live here. I'll just flip in.
And so the first thing we see is a lady grabbing a shotgun and coming outside and being like, who the fuck are you?
Shotgun Mom Jeans shows up.
And he also, by the way, he does have a duffel bag. Like, he has like a full duffel bag full of stuff, and he's broken into this mansion.
This weird, like, out-of-breath, mustachioed guy with a duffel bag. I'm watching my dad star in an action movie. He's jumping fences instead of coming through the front door.
And then, so basically, Nero knocks down the gun, and then as Ira grabs her breasts and kicks her to the ground.
He straight up gives her a traditional ninja purple nipple.
And then all of a sudden, you hear voiceover, Cole, you old son of a bitch, how the hell are you?
And in walks couldn't afford James Caan.
Yeah.
Oh, you old son of a bitch, how the hell are you?
Bastard.
See, you met the wife.
Hey, Filipino rules, man.
So she looks pissed, by the way. Marianne, who's the wife, and Frank is the husband.
Understandably pissed.
She looks fucking furious, and I write rightfully so. Did he tell her? Did Cole call? Like say, hey, I'm coming over?
Yeah, by the way, Jake the Snake Roberts is going to jump the fence to our estate with his bag.
Because the last scene we saw was he just said, like you said, he was, I'm going to the Philippines. Boom, he breaks into a house. We're like, okay, this is turning dark real soon. No, it's his good friend, and he's going to, like, fondle his wife in the front yard.
His old war buddy.
And then we get inside, right? So Cole and Frank are catching up.
Yeah, we cut to a table. Snack time.
No,
Come
no.
by.
We cut to like, oh, I'm going to serve you a drink. And like, it's a little early for an alcohol
Okay, hold on.
beverage.
It's night, right?
No, they said it was too early.
Okay, but he
booze.
broke in there at the night, right?
No, it was daytime.
I think it was
daytime?
It was like
Yeah.
morning.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, it was
6.
early.
Because, yeah, he's like, hey, let's have a drink. And he pours them drinks. And Marianne says, do you have to drink? You just got up. And he goes, Frank looks at her and goes, I don't have to. I just choose to.
Oh.
And I write, well, it doesn't seem things are going well at the old homestead. And that's...
But you could be right, because the next line after that is, like, I assume you're staying for dinner.
Yes, it's like Frank just woke up at 5 o'clock. She's like... He's like,
possible.
hey, I've got to start waking up at 5 so you don't bitch at me for drinking. Am I right?
Now it starts.
But this is when we get the first thing of like, there's some real uncomfortableness between Frank and his wife that is played out through this movie that is incredible.
I thought there was like this weird subplot of him being an alcoholic, but like him having PTSD from Vietnam and living in the Philippine jungle.
Well,
And
Frank
then
has
had nothing to do with it.
Frank has all sorts of problems.
There's a whole very interesting movie that we're not getting to see here.
He is the biggest sad sack we've had since Walter in A Bucket of Blood.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a real sad sack because we're going to get to various points where he just kind of cries about how bad his life is and how much of a fucking loser he is. But at this point, he really pissed me off because he looks at his wife and he says, I guess I should have mentioned that Cole was coming. He and I go back a long way. And I was like, you think? You think you should have mentioned my master of ninjitude friend is coming over to stay for a while? You might see a man jumping over the fence. Don't pay any attention.
Don't worry about it.
And then Cole. Okay, so Marianne leaves in a huff, right? And Cole goes, "How's married life?" And Frank says, 2 years of bliss.
Yeah, they've been married for 2 years and it's been happy.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, no, everything's great."
Clearly.
And Cole's like, "Oh, okay. Are you sure you want me to stay? Maybe."
Yeah, he's kind of side-eyeing the whole time. Like, I should jump back over that fence.
He's like, I can come at another time. Maybe I stay at a hotel. You guys could kind of sort this out. Seems like maybe now's not the best time to have friends, Then we go to a dinner scene, a very, very uncomfortable scene between Frank and Marianne, who just absolutely love each other. The sexual tension is dripping between them because basically they just kind of stare at each other with like this amazing amount of hatred throughout the whole movie. She can't stand him. I don't really know. Frank is kind of like Lloyd and Raw Force. He's just kind of like a child.
Yes.
There will be various points when he just shoves food into his mouth and drinks whatever he can find.
Now, I haven't been married 2 years yet. Is that what happens at 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently.
Something to look forward to.
Hughes has never been married.
Nope.
We'll let him answer that one.
But at this table, you're seeing how rich these two people are too.
Massively wealthy.
It's unbelievable.
They have like butlers and like an open air square 200 acre
in the Philippines.
Yeah. So this is about $100, Hughes. Like 100 American gets you this house.
I can't wait till we get to what they actually sell at this fucking plantation.
Oh my God. This is like the most like we got to feel sorry for rich people movie.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you feel bad for me? I don't want to sell my land.
They
it's
literally have slaves and they just like tip them to basically kill
slaves that they give nicknames to.
Not to jump too far ahead, but that's the main thrust of this movie is we need to stop that evil developer from plowing our plantation.
Yeah, and letting us have our slaves.
It's like, hey,
man, there's people that like worked this land for 200 years. They were born here. Multiple generations.
And then we took them over.
You just adopted our plantation. These people were born into it.
They come with the land, sir. You buy the house, you get the people. They've been here for generations.
You initialed right here on the contract for the slaves. Slaves, yes.
Always read the fine print.
This dinner scene just ends, and like Frank and Cole are walking in the backyard, right? And apparently someone wants. Okay, this is where we learn like somebody wants Frank to sell his land. He says his land in his mine. He says the word mine.
Oh, did he? Jade,
and I was like,
Jade in that mine.
Is there a mine in this movie? Because I think maybe that was added, and then they're like, oh shit, we don't have a mine set, but we do have a couple palm trees with some huts.
Tell me we're mining for jade. I like that. Every episode can also be traced back to Raw Force.
Well, I may have one. We'll get to it. So he doesn't want to hear. Okay, he's like, I don't want to sell, and Cole's like, well, why not? And he goes, because Marianne loves it here. And I go, does she really?
Can't you tell?
Yeah.
That she doesn't walk out of the house without a shotgun at the ready?
And he's like, hey, they won't take no for an answer. They've been really tough and pushing us. And I'm like, so sell. Simple as that. It's the Philippines. You can't go find another house? Like, come on.
Apparently.
These people are like insanely rich. Like, just go buy the plantation down the street.
Mike doesn't get it.
Seriously.
It's my plantation and my slaves. They have to fucking carry my coconuts.
I'm going to have to come up with all new nicknames for my new slaves.
It's unbelievable.
What am I gonna do?
Like, you expect this kind of plot to involve, you expect it to be like, we got to save the comic shop. It's not the plantation.
Yeah. So basically the storyline up to this point is Cole has come to the Philippines after getting his Master of Ninjitude to help his rich friend get away another rich guy who wants to buy his house and his slaves.
Yes, but he doesn't want the slaves. He just wants the land.
Yeah, he doesn't. Actually, the other guy's better. He doesn't even want the slaves. He call him Lincoln.
But do find a point on it. But Enter the Ninja has the same basic plot as Empire Records and Orgasmo.
And the Civil War.
And the Civil War. It's all Enter the Ninja.
Brother against brother.
That's really what it came down to. It's show versus Cole. Black versus white.
So the bad guy in this movie is constantly trying to free slaves, and they're not letting it.
And we're like, fuck this guy. We're going to take this guy out.
Enter the Ninja Gettysburg.
The bad guy, who, by the way, is basically like Veruca Salt Willy Wonka.
I want it now.
I can't wait to get to those guys. So then
Can we
go,
isolate Hughes doing that?
Yes, definitely. That will be in the Grindbin theme song. So then we go to, quote, the mine is what I write at this point, all right? And Frank says, oh, I love this part. Him and Cole are there, and he goes, this is where I like to spend most of my time with the workers. And I'm like, I'm sure they just love having you around, Frank.
Highlight of their workday is when you come by.
To their house. Like, this is where they live. It's like getting done with the plantation, taking a shower, and the boss man comes to hang out.
Yeah.
Like, yo, guys, I'm bored. You want to play some games?
He's like, I'm the fun slave master. I like to hang out with the boys. You know?
God. It's like having the fun pastor.
He like looks at him and he's like, so what is it like getting whipped, guys? I mean...
All right, I tell you guys what. I had a couple stockies with my buddy. I'm gonna let one of you give me one crack.
Yeah, I want to know.
I just want to know how the other side lives.
Ow, that's how it
Holy
feels. Oh,
Christ!
I should really think before I do that.
That's fucked up. I'll tell you guys what. 2 less lashings each time. I'm not a monster. I am not a monster.
He runs up and he calls a man Pee Wee, and I said, I will bet $100 that's not his actual name, and that's just what Frank came up with because he's like, how do you pronounce? What the fuck did you say your name was? Pewish Hubba? Your name's Pee Wee.
Yeah, and you would earn that $100 and be able to afford a mansion in the Philippines.
Yeah, with my own slaves.
You could be the fun slave driver.
I could have my own Pee Wee. He runs up and he calls this guy Pee Wee, and then he says he calls him that because he's short. Oh no, I think he calls him that because he's short and can't pronounce his real name. And then
I don't think he ever asked him his real name.
I just write once again.
Yep.
How many fucking times in Grindbin movies do we have to deal with this?
Pee Wee, Alika, Pee Wee. Pee Wee, I want you to meet my old friend. He'll be staying with us for a while.
Abue, welcome. Sir, you want me to set up a cockfight for your guest? We win today, boss.
Bet your ass we will. Here, put 200 pesos on it.
200 pesos? Oh,
Cockfight.
A cockfight. And like Frank's like, you got big cock over there? Great, he's great. And we just kind of just watch this whole scene devolve into a cockfight.
This is organically turning into a cockfight podcast. This is the Cockcast.
In the past year, I've seen more cockfights than in my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
We just seem to find every cockfight movie.
So now the cockfight's done. It's kind of the next day, I think, the next morning. And our protagonist is having a nice little Tai Chi session with his shirt off.
His morning routine.
And some nunchucks going.
And I got to say, this guy has no idea how to use nunchucks.
No. Golan was just like, no, just do some move. Do move. Put your hands up.
Like, Django nearly hit himself in the silent D several times. Like, you see that thing hit his hip for a second, his thigh, and you're just like, man, please stop. You're going to hurt yourself. We don't have the insurance.
Or he's just like, Mr. Nero, take 2? No.
We got it. We're done. And then
check that gate, please.
The wife Marianne comes up and she's looking at him and she goes like, well, I'm going into town. You want to come with me? And he's just like, I guess. Cut to the town. She's like, well, I'm going to go do the bank and do all my fucking shit on my list and, just go have fun and we'll meet back.
I love that. She's like, do you want to come with me to town? The second they get there, she's like, later.
Yeah, go.
Just ditches him in town.
Discover it on your own.
She's like, go have fun in the Philippines.
Oh, I didn't say shit about spending the day with me. I asked if you wanted to go to town.
I assume you came here because of that age of consent. Trust me, I'll take you to town. You'll be fine.
And like the first thing he does, he like gets up and he goes and he sees some people, but he walks to the first white person he can find in all of the Philippines.
I think there's a lot of people that would do that if they're visiting another country.
This guy pissed me off to no end. As I call him porno guy, because he walks up to this guy who is selling porno pictures in one side of his jacket.
He has clipped nudie pictures from magazines.
Yeah.
And safety pinned them inside his coat.
And he says, you want to buy some? And then he also opens his other side and he goes, or maybe this is your flavor. And he's got a bunch of crosses. And he also sells watches.
He's got it all. If he ain't got it, you don't want it.
Now, guys, in a normal movie, this man would be just a guy you'd see in this scene and you'd be like, oh, that was funny. No, he is a main character in this movie.
And I knew he would be because this is actor Will Hare, who you may know as the grandfather at the beginning of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, wow.
And the farmer who finds Marty McFly when he travels back in time.
Oh, my God.
Do you think he tried to sell Marty some porno?
That's the cut scene. He's like, you're from the future, are you? And he opens his jacket.
Don't bet they don't got these there, huh?
They still have nudie magazines?
Is I right? This guy is like Cole Short Round.
Yes.
Like he becomes Cole Short Round. Every time he's in a pinch, he has him around, and it's terrible. This guy is a horrible, horrible character.
And I fucking love him.
He is a plot device.
He is a better Short Round. If Short Round was an old white guy with a bunch of nudie pics in his jacket...
He'll just keep popping up, and for literally no reason.
You know
like
what?
They're like, we need another character. Get that porno guy back.
Boy, I gotta tell you, Andy, maybe there is time for love, Dr. Jones.
And then, okay, this is amazing. We also introduce a bad guy. Is I right? At this point, I say Southern Lawyer and My Giant from Billy Crystal's
Billy Crystal.
George Murasad.
Rest in peace.
I was just like, did he just see My Giant? Like, because this is a short guy, a short fat man with a giant man. There's a Hook Man and My Giant.
I thought it was like more like Big Fish. But yeah, the Hook.
These guys look like Captain Planet villains.
Yeah, this is insane. The Hook
Like the Hook
Man,
guy should have a pig nose.
The Hook Man, who's like a portly man with a hook for a hand.
And he goes by the name The Hook.
Dressed as like a foghorn leghorn
Colonel
Southern
Sanders.
lawyer. Yeah, like a Colonel Sanders lawyer.
With flop sweat.
Yeah.
And he has like a hat on and everything, you know, like a Panama hat. And he has My Giant with him.
When Cole asks about him, Pervy Grandpa tells him when he had both hands, he was a real son of a bitch. Now he's much worse.
And they hold up like a candy store sale. Like he like picks up this guy's thing of bazooka bubble gum and he's like, you got the money or else I'll tip over this 5-cent gum. Get him, Giant. And then the Giant kind of roughs him up for a bit.
I was monsters.
I was hoping he was trying to get like the little gumballs with his hook, but it kept on like closing. The hook would close and shoot it.
Can't quite
Couldn't
get it.
pick it up.
Like he's playing marbles.
He was like, don't help me, I'm learning.
I need to do this myself.
And then the porno guy says like, oh, he tries to hold me up for money too. I'm like, how? What is he gonna get from you? He's like, or else we'll tear up those nudie pictures. No more Playboys in the Philippines. You'll have a hell of a time trying to find them. Well, that's what he could do. He could rip up every magazine with his hook.
Yeah.
You know? So then he knocks over stuff. Basically, Cole's like, oh, well, I guess these guys are going to be bad guys. I'll remember that. Then we go to the mine, which we're still calling a mine at this point. Cole and Marianne show up. Without any sort of context, we see people beating up the workers.
Yeah.
Like
Little Pee-wee's getting beat up.
Pee-wee's getting his ass kicked. And then,
for the first time.
Like, it's just like, Golan was like, oh, no, need fight scene. Let's go. And they're like, well, are we going to have any context or...
Nope. Go punch this guy.
Well, I approve of this because we know who the good person was, and we know the main character knows that Pee-wee's the good guy, and anybody else trying to beat him up, he's going to kick.
I could just imagine Marianne's character, like the actress playing Marianne's like, wait, hold on one second. We've just arrived here, and now all of a sudden they're in a fight, and Franco Nero just pulls her aside and goes,
speak normally. I don't know what this accent thing you're doing.
Just do whatever they say, okay? We're getting paid. I want to get out of here. I was supposed to be on a plane to America, and I'm stuck in Manila for another week filming this shithole. It's like, I want to get out of here fast, right? I'm on the Bronson schedule, 8 hours, and I'm off this set. So basically, there's a fight scene with no context. Cole just beats up guys, which, by the way, Franco Nero was probably like, oh, great, I don't have to be in this scene. And have my guy fight them. I think he kills a bunch of people, actually.
Oh, he is leaving bodies everywhere. And I swear there's a spot where he grabs a guy by the arm and he kind of does this water pump move with it. And I swear he makes the cracking sounds with his own mouth. Like it just goes...
It's exactly what it sounds like.
And then like Pee-wee runs up afterwards. He's like, we can't stay here anymore. We get beat up all the time. This is like when they're like, oh yeah, we got to show they're not slaves, so maybe she should pay them. Because then she's like, okay, well, I'll pay you your wages.
For the first time in years.
And they're like, you're the best. We're not really slaves. Thank you, Miss Marianne.
And then this part, isn't like Frank in the background the whole time, like on a hammock, just drunk?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is that we cut to later, and I say, okay, wait, this is not a mine. This is just a bunch of kids grabbing coconuts. Like, it's literally just a shot of children going up in a tree, children slaves, grabbing coconuts and dropping them on the ground, and then Marianne's throwing them into a big cart, and they're just like...
A cart pulled by an ox.
Yeah.
Do you realize she has motor vehicles, and they have this giant thing... And they're like, no, the slaves got to use the ox.
It came with the house.
It came. This is the 200-year-old cart that came.
Look, she's a traditionalist.
You know,
she wants to do it the old way.
We don't want to rewrite history. We got to give them their ox.
They don't know how to drive.
Yeah,
come
on.
You can sell the coconuts for more money if you tell them that you had it pulled by an ox.
Who are you selling coconuts to? They grow wildly throughout the whole island.
I know this is.
But do they get pulled by an ox wildly?
This is the birth of coconut water.
Oh, apparently.
It's like Frank and Marianne are setting up this coconut water racket. It's going to hit big in America in about 40 years, so they're just waiting for it to cash in.
It's Easy Street, baby.
The fucking original hipsters, man. They're like, well, I'm going to get paper bottles and just put it in there.
Artisanal ox-pulled coconut water.
And if you plant the bottle, you'll get a coconut tree.
It's true.
Okay, that's what I also write in my notes. I said, this is not a mine, that's just a plantation. Because they didn't grow those coconut trees either. They were just there, and the slaves came with the house. They may not even been slaves. They were people like on the land. They're like, well, you're on our land, so you're ours now. Also, can you pick those coconuts for us? Thank you.
Do you think that happened? They just like stumbled onto the wrong plantation and just like absorbed into that plantation? And they never like, hey, where'd Bob go? I haven't seen him in months.
And this is when you cut to Frank just passed out in a hammock. So he was there the whole time, apparently, through the fight and all this, just passed out drunk on a hammock. And then Cole's like, has he always been like this? And she's like, ever since the, quote, problems started.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to next morning in town. So Cole and Frank come to talk to the porno salesman. So he's back again. And Marianne's like rounding up. There's literally no point in this scene.
No.
Because they go, hey, porno man, what's going on? And he's like, hey, I'll tell you where your wife is for money. And Frank's like, put it on my tab, which I'm sure he has a running tab with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he does. And then he's like, oh, she's at the bar rounding up new workers. So this scene was useless. We could have just went to the bar.
No, but it's not useless because then we see what kind of person the ninja is because he stole from the dollar guy and just like ate something off it and threw it on the ground and then walked.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Cole steals something?
He steals something, like takes a bite out of it and then throws it on the ground and walks to the bar.
It's a real Kevin Hall All-American Hero move.
Well, you're American. You do whatever you want. You know, you just throw your weight around the Philippines. You just fly that flag and do whatever the hell you please, Hughes. Nobody's going to stop you. You got American dollars. Come on. So then we go to the bar, right? And Frank and Cole come to join Marianne, who's like sitting at a table with a business suit on. And she's like, okay, I'm hiring new slaves. And the first person she's talking to, by the way, is like a 60-year-old man.
Probably
she's
not the
like,
best candidate.
She's like looking at, she's like, you got some arms. I could see. Can you climb a tree? And he's just like, oh, yeah, whatever. Please, food, water, please, anything.
She's like, that's the spirit. Welcome aboard.
We like them desperate. So then everybody's like afraid to work, right? And Hook and My Giant are just sitting at the bar watching this go down.
I don't get it. Like, oh, you realize they actually, I think they called it out. They go, like, do you see who's behind you? And like, they're literally 3 feet away from each other.
Frank and Cole walk in, and Frank says to Marianne, she goes, do you see who's, or no, she says to Frank, do you see who's behind you? So she knew they were there the whole time. And he goes, yeah, I don't give a shit or something.
It was a weird scene.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Like most of this movie.
And so basically, like, Hook tells, like, he's like, hey, you can't hire any workers or something.
Yeah, that's all that happens. And then Frank is at the bar. Not Frank.
I forgot. Cole. No, it's an amazing scene how he tells them they can't work. Is she starts giving the sales pitch to the new slave. She's like, all right, you're going to get room. You're going to get board. There's only a few whips a week if you know. And then all of a sudden you hear this like it's a wedding and somebody's hitting the glass.
It's warriors.
Yeah, come out to play.
His Hook is just sitting there banging a glass with his hook.
Ding, ding.
I thought he was giving a toast at a wedding and like just... And we're going to get a big old speech. No, we're just like, do you guys really want to work there? Ding, 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 ding. I don't think you really want to work there. Oh, the Hook man said something negative. We're out of here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The new regime in town's against slavery, so we got to go.
So fuck these guys. He's fucking on board with the slavery idea.
The abolitionists.
Yeah.
The fucking abolitionist gang.
We don't need these guys.
And so
these Antifa thugs.
So then Hook confronts Cole, but then Cole fights My Giant, and then like a few other random goons just randomly show up. Like all of a sudden it's like a Batman episode, and like all these random guys show up.
How great would this movie be? I mean, it already is, but if we had the
bam
every time you hit people,
it pretty much does with the soundtrack.
Zap.
I mean, this soundtrack's one step off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't even wait to get to the point where we just decide that we're going to make this movie into a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Just
You
randomly.
mean like in 2 seconds?
Yeah, well, you're right, because basically Cole wins by doing the whole Three Stooges slap to Hook. He's like dodging his punches and then slapping him. He's like, wham, wham, wham,
It's a
wham.
pretty great sequence.
Then he takes his hook and shoves it into
Like a pillar.
yeah, and he's like, oh, I guess it really is stainless steel or something.
You know, he said hang around, didn't he?
Yeah, he did say hang around.
He has his little Schwarzenegger quip he gets to do.
And then they just leave. So this scene
Hook's just
ends.
left dangling.
And then we go to an office. Okay, this is amazing because we finally get introduced to the best character in this entire movie.
Venarius.
Yeah, Veruca Salt as a bad guy in a movie as a man. It's like her brother.
And what is this thing he's wearing?
Yeah, that's what I wrote in my notes. He's wearing some sort of blue, like I don't know what it is.
Tzatziki,
Like,
It's a
tzatziki,
right?
right?
It's like Akeem the African Dream. Like, he's dressed like a guy who has serious opinions on how monogamy isn't the natural state for humans.
And he's kind of fucking bizarre throughout, like,
Oh,
the whole
you
movie.
think?
Oh, we're
Like I
we're
said,
at peak Christopher George here.
he-
He's fantastic.
is like a 11-year-old girl, 11-year-old spoiled girl from Willy Wonka.
It's great.
Can we describe his office?
His
He was
office.
Okay, yeah, I got it. His office is a Olympic-sized swimming pool with women inside of it. On the edges of the glass building, because we are about 20, 30, 40 stories up,
Yeah.
on the edges is where he keeps the accountants and the analysts. They each have a single desk that's just big enough for a piece of paper and their pencil.
you know, paperwork and water. It's a good
Yeah,
mix.
it's perfect. And it just kind of looks like a Coke binge waiting to happen, but also in an office.
Like, could you see at some point Venarius coming in and he's like, I want a pool in this office now. And they're
You
like,
just have to
but,
start putting it in.
but sir, where are the desk going to be? I want it now.
Sir, we're on the 20th floor. We can't dig a pool.
And I want girls to swim in it.
They're going to be living mobiles.
I don't want them to be synchronized. I want them to all make random motions, and I will conduct them with my big stick I carry around for one scene.
Full disclosure, fellas, I want to work here. I will gladly take a little desk.
How many times a day do you think some guy gets up and accidentally falls in that pool? Because the walkway is like barely there.
Can you imagine like being on the phone, just leaning back in your chair and falling into the pool? You're on some like stupid webinar, and you're like listening to some dumbass talk. And you're like,
And then suddenly, splash. Loose screws.
I mean, I could see some guy opening up a file cabinet full of W9s and the girl jumping in the pool and it just gets like,
Splashes
oh,
into it.
God damn it!
6 months wasted.
and they keep on expanding, so people are now in like the locker room and next to the steam showers, and like their glasses are fogging up.
Sweating.
And somebody's like, I think I'm going to talk to him about the pool. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Not
Whatever.
want to talk to him
Do
about
not-
the pool.
Don't talk to him directly.
You will end up in that pool.
So Hook and my giant come into the office, right? And they go up and like Hook's like, hey, I want to meet with Venarius, who's Christopher George. There's this part where Mr. Parker, his assistant, is like, don't speak to him directly, which this will never come up again. It's just for this scene.
No, yeah, it's just for right now.
Much like the It's Muhammad in Raiders of Atlantis. We just abandoned this after
Yeah,
a
just
bit.
forget it. Because he slaps him once and he's like, you call him by his real name. Don't you fucking look at him. And then he's like, oh, okay, so we can't get that guy to sell his land or something. We need more guys.
And like, why you need more guys? I need more guys because there's a person being up. Don't you fucking talk to him directly. You talk to me, and then he'll talk to you.
And this is the only scene, for some reason, Christopher George decided to scream most of his lines in this scene. It's like they had to take the boom mic away from him because it's literally overloading the mic. Like, you can hear the static in the soundtrack of him, like, overloading it. And they're like, Christopher, could you please tone it down? Nope. I like that last performance. We're moving on. Check the gate.
Done.
So then we go to the port, and this is incredible. We have a scene of, like, so the Hook and Mr. Parker, like, walk to the port, and they're like, all right, we're going to go round up some rough guys. We're going to go find the local thugs that hang out by the docks. Real group of misfits. Like, so did you guys notice there's, like, a bunch of Filipino guys and then, like, one white guy and one black guy
Yep.
in this group? And I'm like, I bet they're going to somehow have lines.
I was gonna say, you know who wins?
The white, like, so Venarius shows up, right? And he's just like, I want some thugs now. And they're like, okay, whatever you say, sir. And the white guy walks up and he's like, hey, I'll do whatever you want.
Is this Preacher?
Yes,
Yeah.
he says his name is Preacher. And he's like, really, Preacher? Will you do anything I ask you to? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And he's like, well, kill that Hook man. I don't like him anymore.
And he's, okay, I guess I'll kill this guy, and kind of walks over to him.
And then the Hook man just kind of hooks him in the balls.
Which would fucking hurt.
Just gets hooked right in the taint.
They just kind of like walk away and forget about it. But then Venarius is like, okay, well, I need you all to try out, so just beat each other up for a while.
Well, it's like, is anybody else up to this? And they go, yeah. And these people all stand up, and the other one's left. And he goes, okay, the people left, pair off.
Yeah, everyone fight to the death.
Battle of the death.
And so then we just cut.
Yep.
And we go to a polo game.
Jesus, we get it. You're white.
Now we get a polo game of our two main characters, Frank and the White Ninja, but then they're also being spied on by the boss.
Okay, we cut to a polo game, but just see Venarius at first with the biggest cartoon, like fucking Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote binoculars. These things are huge. They take like 2 hands to hold up, you know? And the funny thing is he's looking through and he's like, I don't like that ninja guy, or I don't like that Frank guy. But they're 5 feet away from him.
Yeah, with increasing intensity scene by scene, Christopher George is in a different thing. He's in Enter the Ninja, the animated series. While everyone else is trying to do a real movie.
He's looking through these giant cartoon binoculars at men who are maybe 5 yards from him.
He needs to make sure he gets a good look.
And he looks at Mr. Parker and he's like, I don't like that man. I want his land now and his slaves. And he's just like, all right, we'll get him for you, sir. And he's like, who's that man with him? And he's like, I don't know. I've never seen him before and all this. And they're just like, hey, this guy's beating everybody up or something.
And then they cut to like the conversation of the White Ninja and Frank. And they're starting to like build this subplot of like back in Africa.
Yeah,
it was like 100 years ago, man.
And then
okay, before we get to that, Cole looks at Frank and he says like, hey, how come you don't go out there and play? And he's like, I used to be able to ride a horse, but now I can't anymore.
Been like a year.
It's like some whole sob story about how this rich man can't ride his rich horse anymore to whip the slaves, and he's got to do it on his feet now.
This poor guy.
He's got to get the wife to use the whip now. I can't even get it in my... Cole, I can't even the sight of blood, I can't even do it anymore. I'm such a weak man. And this is when they go into their
Africa backstory fucking flashback of...
Africa what?
Apparently there was a Green Beret drop mission in Africa.
Because I was like, okay, the last time I remember us fighting in Africa was World War II.
They're not clear on what this mission was.
No.
Because I think it's the same public park from that opening scene. And it's just they're in red berets now and running around playing soldier.
Yeah, they're not Green Berets.
No, they're in red berets, and it's them as themselves now. So not younger. Like, they don't look younger at all.
Remember way back when we looked exactly like this?
I mean, like 2 years before he became a ninja.
Like, they might even look older.
What a life this Cole guy's planned.
We go to Africa, and they're just soldiers, and then they kind of run around, and Frank saves Cole after he's shot or something, and I just write, okay.
Yep, and then, they're war buddies, and he saved his life.
Yeah, cool.
Got that.
But the next scene is the most amazing scene I've ever seen in a movie, and I'm not playing that up. This is incredible. Is we see Frank standing by a gate, and the slaves come up, and he's like, oh my God, you brought my favorite cock. And he kind of like bends down, and he's like getting everybody ready, and we're all low, and he goes,
Boss, we're back.
Pee-wee. And my banker is back, huh?
And Maria?
Maria's back. ¿Cómo está? Hey, Pedro. Hey, Jose, how good to see you. All of you, wonderful. Let's have a cockfight. Come on, let's go. Over here, everyone, around the circle. Come on.
and they run over, and then they're all like,
that is are you ready for some football?
But we don't get too much into this cockfight.
Probably for the best.
But they're all like jubilant. They're playing happy music. They're
it's
like,
the best.
And this cockfight's going on.
And then this is when the quote-unquote good fighters show up. They roll in on their vans.
Those dock thugs.
The dock thugs. They come three different directions.
Hook's goons.
Yeah, the
Look, they're in bell bottoms with froze. These dudes look like an Earth, Wind, and Fire cover band.
And they drive around in some bizarre, like, I don't know, like
it's a
some
party
sort
bus.
Mini party bus.
A Filipino party bus that'll take you to that.
Filipino party bus.
It's called the Age of Consent bus.
Yeah. They're just kind of like Charlie's Angels criminals.
Yeah.
Like the ones
Huggy Bears hopping up the back of this bus.
And so a big fight breaks out, and my giant's there, and he ties Pee-wee up to the bed. They're gonna draw a
We're
corner
talking
of
about
now.
sad sacks. Poor fucking Pee-wee gets dragged behind the party bus.
He's like, not me again.
Pee-wee gets dragged through the cock ring
Oh.
behind a car.
Just my luck.
Every time.
Why is it always me?
And so then all of a sudden, Cole and Mary ride up on horses, like a horseback. And then Cole like jumps into the truck and like kicks the guy in the face.
And Cole is wearing another great hat. He's got this sweet like white newsboy he's wearing.
Yeah,
If
he's
you pay
wearing, like,
attention throughout this movie, he's got like 19 different hats.
It's like a white newsy hat.
Yeah,
You know?
he shows up dressed like a newsie.
Also,
And seizes the day on all their asses.
Cole must have a hell of a time getting his white clothes clean because all he wears is white. In fact, every bad guy just wears white. Cole wears
his
white.
shit is immaculate.
Listen, if you have slaves that just do all of your laundry, do you really care if it gets dirty?
But I mean, how much bleach is there available in the Philippines? It must be like
Apparently, they're mining bleach.
So then we get more fighting. Frank, of course, gets his ass kicked. Like in every scene, there's a fight scene. He just is a sad fucking
Really,
sack.
Frank and Pee-wee are neck and neck as to who's just got the worst life.
And somehow there's no guns in any of these scenes. All these are fist fights.
No, and when there will be guns, guys just won't use them.
Yeah.
No.
It'll be just like you said in the beginning. They're like, well, I could use this, but I
Well,
won't.
see, that would reveal a big problem with ninjas. Is that you can't out ninja a machine gun.
That should have been a line Venarius said.
And then it just ain't bulletproof.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, you could have an army of ninjas and mow them the fuck down.
So Cole rips the hook out of Hook's hand at the end of this fight.
Like
and
it is. Like it looks like he tore part of his arm off too. Like there's some like red shit hanging out of the stump,
like tendons and all
He did
this.
like a Mortal Kombat move to him.
But then, okay, so this movie has been serious until now, right? Or at least it's trying to be.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he rips his fucking hook off.
And he quips, "Hey, you forgot something," and throws him the arm.
I thought he like pulled off more of his forearm.
Yo, he did. That's what I'm saying. Like it's the hook plus part of his arm.
Which I thought was, I mean, it's hilarious because it's a dick move, but he should have pulled the other hand.
Like tearing off part of a man's arm is a dick move.
Yeah, but you know what's
And he says, "You forgot something," throws it to him, and we get.
Hey, you forgot something.
I did not hear that.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's in the soundtrack. He throws his arm at him, and
My wife and I had to pause the movie. We were like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I was crying, laughing, and going like, hold on. So at the Canon offices, they were like, make this funny. And the editor's like, this is not a comedy, sir. And he's like, no, hard than soft. People need to laugh. I mean,
Mr. Golem, it's a man getting his arm torn off.
it's funny. He's a fat man with a hook.
Look, I'll see what I can do. What sound effects do we have?
We got the car screech, we got the womp womp, and we got the vuvuzela.
We had the vuvuzela. I may be able to track down a Wilhelm scream.
I think Golden and Globus have like a soundboard, like a morning zoo soundboard in the editing room. And while the guy's editing it, they just put in any sound effect they want. They're like, fat man lost his hook.
Yeah, the boing boing sound comes later.
Yes, it does.
So then we go to the office, Venarius' office, and Hook's watching Venarius direct these women swimmers. Not at all. He's just like, look at me.
He's got a Harry Potter watch.
He's like, I'm a wizard. Wee! And he's just going like this. And he looks at Hook. He's like, don't you think I'm doing a good job? You know, you could have really had Eddie Deason play this character. I mean, he's doing like a Deason voice.
I can definitely see Eddie Deason waving a wand at a water ballet in his office.
He's like, don't you like my mobile? And the hook guy is almost like, is this part of the script? Is this the movie that I'm in?
It's like a Gary Busey line, man. Because what the fuck is going on?
He looks confused. Like Hook looks legitimately confused when he's like, "What do you mean, sir?" He's like, "My mobile, my living mobile," and he's just like,
I see like 6 girls in a pool spinning around.
And then Venarius,
Watch this trick. Boobsus exposius.
and then Venarius is all pissed at that one guy's. He's like, "Man, all my duck dogs are gone. What the hell happened?" And they're like, "Well, this ninja guy, he's like really good." And he looks.
By the way, Hook has been reattached like he didn't get part of his arm torn off.
Yeah, and then, but this is exit Hook for now because Venarius goes, "Mr. Parker, fire this man." And then he just leaves, and he goes, "Mr. Parker, you'll find me that guy, right? You'll win for me. Get me that land."
This.
It was a real Vince McMahon move. You're fired.
Doesn't this movie seem like the boss man is like hundreds of miles away and can't deal with this? And literally, he can probably see the plantation from his building.
Oh yeah, he's overlooking the rest of the film.
I write in my notes, I can't even begin to explain how great Venarius is as a villain. This is probably one of my favorite villains in any movie ever.
Absolutely.
So then we go to Frank's house, and I write, apparently Porno Man was invited.
Porno Man came with a message.
This is the most confusing thing in this movie.
Because he's neutral.
Because they're all standing.
Chaotic neutral.
So we have Cole, Frank, Marianne, and Porno Man, and they're all standing in a house with no context.
Right.
And Marianne's holding a letter, and she's like, I think this says you got to meet a guy to Frank. And everybody's like, well, I have questions. Where did this letter come from? And Porno Guy's like, oh. Like, but you brought us a letter. And he's like, oh, some guy gave it to me.
Hey, sounds good.
Well, what guy? And he's like, oh, some guy.
But White Ninja's like, all right, I think you should meet him.
Yeah, Cole goes, I think you should meet whoever it is that sent you this mysterious letter.
Because he can sense it in his feet that this is an opportunity to kill some people.
But then we realize that because we go outside and there was a driver. So Porno Man, that man obviously knows where you're going because the guy knows where he's going to bring him.
Mm-hmm. But they had to put a plan into motion because before they go and meet the driver, Cole looks to Frank and goes, remember Angola? And then they go and meet. So now there's this plan that the audience doesn't know about.
Which means it's going to work.
But Porn Round knew the whole time.
Porn Round.
Porn Round.
Because obviously the guy... Why did you even need Porn Round here? Like, some guy goes to town, he gets Porn Round, he goes, hey, do you know where that Frank guy lives? I know where he lives. Because Venarius obviously does. He wants the land.
I'll take you there.
Can you come with me and then give him this letter and then tell him you don't remember who gave you the letter even though I'm sitting outside of the car?
Because he won't listen if I give him the letter. I'm going to get killed. He's going to take my hat.
And he's like, yeah, whatever. I just want to be in the movie. I'm on set today. And so then we watch Marianne. Okay. Basically, like, Cole beats up the driver.
He
and then
chokes him out and takes his hat.
He learns where he's going. Yeah, he puts on another hat. He's like Scorchy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm now a driver.
Oh my God, can you imagine Scorchy as a white ninja?
Oh, man.
Now that's the movie I want to see. The sequel to Enter the Ninja is Connie Stevens as a ninja. Yeah, I've never seen a ninja give a blowjob, have you?
Who wants to enter the ninja?
And they're like, oh, give her whatever she wants.
Short. Porn Round is like, mama's doing it.
So now Cole and Porn Round are also going to the meeting, and Cole's like dressed up like a driver. Yeah. Like you said, I'm a driver now.
Inconspicuous.
That's the voice he does. Like Cole does the fucking Sylvester. So they go to a meeting, and Frank and Porn Round are like, hey, we're going to go into the meeting. And then they look at Porn Round, they go, no. Get the fuck out of here, guy. And he goes back to the car, and he's like, they wouldn't let me in there, Mr. Coleman.
And Cole's like, hey, mister, you got a nice gun. Let me see that thing. Oh, my God. Let me show you mine.
And they basically like take the guards' guns.
This is some Looney Tunes shit because we get a and then a backhand.
Yeah,
and they steal the guards' clothes.
This is the worst idea I've ever seen. Is Cole gives Porn Round a gun and he goes, "You cover us." I'm like, "Oh no."
He's like, "You know how to use this?" And he goes like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Don't you know how to use this?"
You just put the metal thing right.
Point and click.
So then, like, okay, basically Frank goes into this meeting with Mr. Parker, and this is where I fucking lost it. Because he walks into the meeting, and Mr. Parker's like, hey, we'd really like you to sell your land. And he's like, but I'm not selling. He goes, well, we're offering 7 figures. Over $1 million fucking dollars. And he's
I'm selling the land.
Yeah, and Frank's like, I don't think so.
I sure like whipping Filipino guys.
I'm like, okay.
Well,
so
who's
now,
going to hit Pee-wee?
So they're not even trying to do that much of a hostile takeover when you learn that they're offering millions of dollars for his land.
That's why I said, are they actually evil?
I don't think they are.
Sir, we would like your land. How does $7 million sound? No, I want my slaves. You can keep the slaves. But I want my coconuts. You can buy a new coconut grove.
No, you can have the coconuts. They're only going to drill in one area. They only want the oil in one area.
But I want my nice house. My wife likes it.
Listen, the Philippines have a lot of islands. We'll buy you one.
Yeah, for the millions of dollars, you can go buy a goddamn island, guy. So this whole movie is about like us watching a white man not take $1 million for his Filipino slave house.
The South will rise.
It's about the art, damn it.
The South will rise.
Yep.
It just happens to be in the
south of the
southern
Philippines.
eastern Southeast Asia.
Yeah, you look at our band of heroes, and we have a slave driver, a porn peddler, and a mass killer.
Yeah, who are all offering $1 million to stop killing people, and they go, "No, we like the killing.
No, we're good with the slaves and the murder."
Because while this meeting's going on, Cole is just like killing bodyguard after bodyguard.
These cutaways are hysterical because we're having a conversation and just cutting to a man getting his neck snapped.
Over and over and over.
Like we needed the end keys of a piano as he snuck up on him. Just
And you need the Metal Gear Solid like.
Oh. We needed a box moving across the ground.
Oh god, he's just in a box across the
Just
meeting.
pops up, snaps a neck, gets back in the box.
This is great though. As Mr. Parker goes, "Okay, so you won't take our millions of dollars. All right." Snaps his fingers and he goes, "Wait a second, where are all the guards?"
Yeah, I counted. Only 6 dudes showed up.
He's like,
when he
yeah,
snapped
there's
his
like
fingers.
20. And he goes like, well, I'm missing 14.
Where are the other 14? And that's when Cole arrives and drops 14 guns in front of him.
Again, he has guns.
It's like Kevin Hall collecting spears. He was carrying a gun with every person he killed.
Yeah, and he's like, "But I don't know how to use these because my Master of Ninja 2 doesn't cover gunfire, so I'm
know
just
what
going
these
to
are
give
for."
these back." Oof.
Ninjas don't have armor.
So
I think this moment needed a...
Because he gives back all the guns, and then they're like, "Okay, we'll kill those guys." And then Porno Guy shoots a man.
Because he was going to shoot.
Porn Round shoots a guy.
Yeah.
Because he's going to shoot them. And then he goes, "Drop your guns, alias." And they're like, "Okay, I guess one man with a gun."
Sure thing, Porto Guy.
Yeah, but they should have been like, "Shoot that guy."
Yeah.
Would somebody kill this fucking guy? I don't even know. Do you remember this guy? Do you even know who he is?
The name's Porn Round.
Porn round.
And so then, basically, another fight scene happens. Cole wins
this
as
martial
usual.
arts brawl by 8 guys who don't know martial arts.
Yeah, but
It's like a bunch of little kids trying.
but they know enough to kick Frank's ass again. He gets his ass kicked. He doesn't even get it in like one punch. Like, this is a real burial of Frank.
One punch.
And then they leave, and I say, thankfully, Porn Round doesn't leave with them. They just leave him there. Like, they exit the scene, they're like, forget about that other guy.
Don't worry about Porn Round.
He'll somehow appear.
He'll find his way home. He
like
always does.
He's like a little fairy. You know what I mean? You ring a bell, he'll appear. He's like...
He's Kazoo. Would you like to buy some porn, dum-dum?
He definitely is. The Porn Round Kazoo. Okay, so we go to a bar. Oh my god.
Frank.
This is like
God
where this
damn it,
movie
Frank.
is just, it's so good because it adds so many layers of stupidity
To a character that we do not care about.
We have to see him drinking and Cole just staring at him and he goes, "Cole."
Don't get me wrong, Cole. She's a very sexy lady. She wants it all the time. But the problem is I can't get it up for her lately. And for Christ's sake, Cole, she deserves more than that. Don't you think?
He also talks about wishing his dad was still here. So he's just like, I miss my father and I can't get my dick up. Like, get it together,
I
Frank.
just write, what the fuck are we talking about? Because Franco Nero's just sitting there like, just like, giving these eyes like,
I don't know what to say.
What am I doing in this fucking movie? Like, I've been in some real shit, but this, I'm watching a man say he can't get his dick up, and this is a minute 50.
He's missing when his co-star was just a casket he dragged around.
And then the scene just ends.
Well, yeah, but the scene we
It's
cut
bedtime. It's bedtime, guys. That's White Ninja. That's how White Ninja rolls.
That's right.
Okay.
I love that he's getting this sob story
About how
about
Frank
his
can't get his
best
dick up.
friend and how he can't please his wife. We cut to Cole banging Frank's wife immediately. He's like, "What should I do?"
But the setup is amazing. Cole is reading his Burger King scroll
Right.
in bed. So he's trying to freshen up on Ninja 2. And he's like, what was that part about the gang sign?
What was the 8th gang sign?
And then Marianne just walks in silently. Like, she's like, am I supposed to, where's my mark? And she just walks in and then sits in the bed. And then he just turns off the light.
Yep. Cut to morning. Good morning, everybody.
Holy shit. As I write, we watch Frank as he shoves a bowl of green slime into his mouth. And he's like, oh, God, oh my God, guys, I haven't slept like that. I've slept like a baby. Oh my God, fighting really does that to you. Blah, blah, blah. And I write, Cole and Marianne are just giving each other the we've made a huge mistake look.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh no, regrets.
How did that happen?
Two men that can't get it up.
Even Cole couldn't.
You think that's why Pee-wee keeps getting beat up? Because he can?
You see just Cole and Marianne in bed. He goes, well, they don't teach us this in Ninja Tune. I don't know how to handle this one.
That was the other island, the Tantric Island.
And so Frank just goes on and on until Mary tells him to shut the fuck up. It's almost like she becomes one of the audience members. She goes, Frank, will you shut the fuck up? My
Can we move
God.
on, please?
You just run your goddamn mouth. Cut. And then she gets up and she's like, oh, Frank goes, what's the matter? Didn't she get enough sack time last night? And I go, what does that mean?
Didn't she sleep well in the sack?
I'm like, does it? Or did I was like, hold on. Now I'm starting to think there's this big thing of like a competition between Frank and Marianne on who gets to fuck Cole first.
Or
Because
maybe
like,
Frank's into cuckolding.
I feel like they're both in love with them. And that's like, I'll get him first. No, I'll get him first. It's a big like this is what's that movie, like Cruel Intentions?
Yeah, you can have them. You have a lot in common.
Like Frank and Marianne got this big Cruel Intentions plot over. We're gonna bring your friend here, and we're both gonna try to fuck him.
It's like a flaccid Vienna sausage.
At least that's I can't. You know what? If Scorchy had played Frank's wife,
oh man,
who fucks him fast? You know what you need, Cole? Is a good blowjob.
You crazy bitch.
So we go to the office. In Venarius, Mr. Parker's telling Venarius about how Cole is a ninja.
This is where
this is so great. He's a ninja, man.
He goes, a ninja? What is a ninja?
He's at peak Veruca at this point.
20 men? He got rid of 20 men? That is impossible.
Impossible or not, sir, he took care of them all.
This is due to one man?
Not an ordinary man, sir. A ninja.
A what?
Someone who has studied ninjutsu. I made some notes.
Mr. Parker pulls out a little book where apparently he's written down the definition of ninja. He goes, well, I found it right here. A ninja is somebody who does this thing. And Venarius looks at him and goes, but this is Manila. This isn't feudal Japan. A ninja? And he goes, Mr. Parker, go to Japan and get me a ninja. I want a ninja now.
And this ninja is working for Landers? Well, I want a ninja. Find me a ninja who believes in the old ways, Mr. Parker.
And he goes, okay.
And so
he goes to the ninja store.
Parker's plan, yeah.
His plan is
Parker's
horrible.
plan is to talk to find an agent that represents a ninja.
Yeah, but just to tell an agent.
Yeah.
Because he goes into this, like, as I write the Japanese Mr. Crown.
Yes.
As he goes into Japanese Mr. Crown's office, he's like, what do you want? I got a samurai.
Mr. Crown-san.
He really does. He's like, well, I got samurais, I got models, I got underage women. I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Ninja. Oh, my God. I haven't heard of one of them in years. Maybe down at the park. I heard something about that. And then he goes like, how about this guy? And he holds up a fucking publicity still from a movie from 1970 called Men in War, which is a real movie. And I write, it's not a ninja movie, by the way. I looked it up on IMDb.
Is it a canon movie?
No, it has nothing to do with anything. They found this.
That's what they had lying in Japan. The one scene they had in Japan.
Like they go down to that Japanese Photoshop and buy whatever movie picture you can. And he just shows him a picture of like a man in war, which is apparently about like World War II, like post World War II, like a drama.
In Japan? Yeah, that is dramatic.
Yeah, and it's a guy dressed in a business suit. He's like, how about this guy? And they're like, okay.
Because then he say like, oh, ninjas can be anything. They can be bankers. They can be...
Yeah.
They can be anything.
Have a day job.
It doesn't pay well.
Ninja Dude doesn't pay the bills, you know. Mr. Parker's like, no. I want one of them ninjas.
He wants the real deal.
And the talent guy's like, all right, I'll find it, right? So we cut to Ninja Haas. And I write, well, we didn't really need that scene at all because now all of a sudden Mr. Parker's sitting in Ninja House on the carpet.
But I love that this agent knew where to go.
He's like,
oh, you want a real ninja? Well, I'll just head over to the ninja school downtown.
Yeah, well,
in the park.
Yeah,
it's a lovely bridge.
And then, so Mr. Parker comes in and he's like, I want one of them ninjas. And then he's like, okay, I got one for you. And then we see the Black Ninja
auditions.
Just do some tricks. And they're like, okay, we'll take that one.
It's round 1 of So You Think You Can Ninja.
And the Black Ninja sits down. And then Japanese Mr. Crown goes, okay, now I'm the agent. And the scene just ends. And I go, why did we need this guy?
No, that's it. Like we have our anti-ninja.
Yeah. So the Black Ninja's now gonna go and be Venarius's ninja,
and we're setting up the inevitable confrontation between Cole and Hasakawa.
Yeah, the will they won't they is still
old,
on. Okay,
ninja spy versus spy.
But this is why the Black Ninja is not a bad person.
No,
this is all about who's gonna fuck Cole first.
Well, that's true.
Black Ninja, Frank, or Marianne. We'll see. Maybe Venarius.
Maybe Venarial. Yeah.
Think about this from Hasakawa's perspective, though. He finds out that fucking white guy who wasn't taking this shit seriously but graduated anyway because he's a white guy is now defending slavery in the Philippines. And so people come to him and go, can you do something about this? He's like, shit, yeah, I'm going to do something about this.
Yes, I will.
This is offensive on multiple levels. Hasakawa is the hero of this story.
Yep. So then Cole in town, he finds one of those weird like bad guy taxis, and it's the scene from the trailer where basically a guy like chases him down and he
grabs him and does who sent you?
And he's like, he tells him everything. He's like, Venarius, he stays in this penthouse. He's blah, blah, blah.
He's offered up information he wasn't being asked about.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, give him a message, and then he tries to shoot him.
Followed.
He tries to shoot him, and then Cole hits him, and he's like, I'll give him it myself. Like, Cole goes over to the office building, but then we see a limo pull up, and Mr. Parker and the Black Ninja go inside.
And Hasakawa is looking great.
Yeah, he's got
his fucking John Travolta disco
outfit
he's wearing.
And he's in the Philippines, so he's got a white suit on. Like, everybody wears white suits in this town.
He's got the big lapels and everything. That dude looks like $1,000,000 yen.
And Venarius, he goes into the office, and the Hasakawa's up there, and he's just like, so you're one of them ninjas, huh? And he's like, yep. And he goes, well, what happens if you don't win? And he's like, well, I'll die.
I'll kill myself.
And he's like, oh, perfect. So it's like, you don't even have to pay.
You weirdos and your honor codes.
So outside the office, porn round, and I write, yeah, he's back. Distracts guards with some dirty pictures. So he's like, hey, boys, want some porno? And then Cole comes up and like hits them.
This is when we do the we're knocking people out and stealing their clothes.
Yes, this part.
It's like becomes Hitman the game.
Worth pointing out, new hats.
Yeah, another hat. Cole's now like a security guard with porn
I think
round.
That's why he brought the duffel bag.
Why the fuck? There you go.
He's filled it up with hats before he goes back home.
You just see a scene of Marianne unzipping it and just hats go everywhere. She's like,
a hat
what the
collector.
fuck? All he's got in here is a denim suit and all these hats.
And one all-white karate gi.
So I write in my notes at this point, why is Porn Round a main character? Why does he keep showing up? And why is he sneaking around this office with Cole? They sneak around the office together and he won't shut the fuck up. Like they're looking through the Venarius' office at night with flashlights, and Cole doesn't say a word. Franco Nero's like, shh, can you get this fucking guy out of the scene? And he's like, oh, look at this. Oh my God, there's a pool in this office. Oh, look at this. Oh, fine. Woodwork on this desk, sir. And then he goes over and he goes, oh, look at this. Blue movies.
Oh.
And he flips on a fucking projector. Wait, okay, before he does that,
we find out about the oil.
Yeah.
We find Frank is like looking through all these paperwork. And everybody, they always have these scenes in these movies where people are flipping through paperwork and know exactly what they're looking at. Like, oh, this is a soil report showing this is oil and this is how much is on there and all that. Bullshit. Go read a soils report. That shit is not easy to fucking decipher what the hell's going on.
If you don't think they taught you a ninjitude, you don't know what you're talking about, all right? That was covered on day 1. How to read a soil report.
That's hand sign number 2.
Come on.
I was like, oh, he was being sued, and this was the action. Party of the first party agrees to that. And you're like, no, you can't just look at a paper for a second and know exactly what's going on. But I get it.
You don't know, man.
Well, we already knew it was about oil. Why do we need this scene? We knew that Venarial wanted he wanted oil, and it was on this land.
So basically, he wants Frank's land because it has oil, but he's still offering severed figures, so it's pretty much fair market value.
Yeah,
I mean, because Frank's not going to hire the fucking oil people to drill there. Like, what is he going to set up his own rig and everything like that? Just take the fucking second figures and
you think
shut
that
the hell
sad
up.
sack can get his rig up? Hell no.
So that's when porn
Everything's
round.
gonna stay in the dirt.
That's when porn round Kazoo, who's just a figment of Cole's imagination.
I really believe that at this point. You better snap a few more necks, dum dum.
Just fucking instigating him the whole time.
Tear that guy's arm off.
At the end of the movie, he goes like, "No, my friend here. What?
Well,
He's
my
not
word here
here.
is done. He just disappears in a cloud of porn clippings.
Yeah, you just
And just
see a
goes
bunch
in
of
the-
dirty
Just boom,
pictures.
just naked pictures.
And it blows away in the wind.
Oh my god!
Like Phenomenon.
So porn round goes, "They got blue movies here. When have I seen this one?" And he flips on a switch, and this makes zero sense. Is now we get a whole movie of
Snuff film.
Hasegawa.
Yeah, we get a nice reel to reel.
I was like, hold on, wait a second. Why do we have a short film of Hasegawa killing a guy as a ninja?
Suddenly we're watching a scene from Sinister. I thought Bagul was sicking a ninja on somebody.
Veneris is like, well, now that I got a ninja, I want to make me one of them ninja movies.
And honestly, looking at that reel to reel, he's already made a better ninja movie.
Because what we're seeing is like a guy walking through like an abandoned building and then Hasegawa like killing him. And there's all these different shots set up and everything.
Yeah, the
and
original
I'm like,
The Ring.
oh, how did they get this footage?
He's really sticking to that porn round thing. This is like the reel to reel you watch in line for the Indiana Jones ride. Hello, Indy.
But now Cole, White Ninja, knows that it's his brother.
Yeah, he says it's someone I used to go to school with in Japan.
Which is a very weird thing to say as like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
That's somebody I went to school with.
In Japan.
Recently.
About 2 months ago before I got here. And he wasn't happy to see me go.
Whatever you say, dum-dum. And so then we go to Frank's house, and Hasegawa, the black ninja's just sneaking around, and he takes out these guards.
The death by palm spikes was good.
Yeah.
I approved of that one. That was probably the best death in this movie.
And then we get the...
There's one coming.
No, it was the best death.
We get the slow death of Frank and Marianne's marriage. And
Yeah.
they just, by the way, some of the lines I've written down, incredible. Like they were expecting Frank to accept his Oscar statue because, oh my God, they're sitting at a table across from each other while the black ninja's killing people outside. And they pour drinks, and Frank says, "You like Cole, don't you?" And she goes, yes, I do. He says, "He's quite a guy." And this is when I write, I think they both want to fuck him.
Yeah.
Then Frank goes on to say something. He's like, "Marianne."
Something wrong, Frank?
You know, when we first came out here, we used to have a little table, and we sat practically on top of each other. Now you're a million miles away.
And I write, how symbolic.
Fucking deep, man.
Rips your heart out.
Then this is what I'd say is the best quote in the movie. Better than "let's have a cockfight." This, I mean, my God, like fucking move over, Scorsese. Frank looks at Marianne and he goes,
You know, Marianne, there are times when I wake up in the morning and I look at this guy in the mirror and I say, what the hell are you doing with your life, Frank? And you know something? Son of a bitch never answers me.
Oh man. Start writing that acceptance speech.
Fucking Deer Hunter.
Now,
Yeah.
I play the audio because nobody can do it justice like Frank can, or the man who did his ADR. But holy shit.
Peter Cullen.
Frank Welker.
Frank Welker.
It feels like these people are in a different movie, and then a light
Completely.
explodes on the table. Like, we go from that moment to a lamp in front of them just exploding.
From the tension in the room.
Like, almost in, like, Spinal Tap when their drummer spontaneously, like, it just goes, "Pah!" and this light explodes, and they're just like, "Oh, my God." And then they run around, and Marianne's sneaking around with the shotgun in the yard, and Frank, being the sad sack he is, just goes, "Marianne, wait, hold on, wait, where's my gun? Hold on, God damn it, where's my gun?"
Where's my super suit?
And she's just, like, kind of trying to take care of the problem, and he's like, wait for me, hold on, Marianne.
God, it's just...
Well, shut the fuck up. Where's my pistol? Marianne, where are the bullets? Oh, my God. Oh, how does the safety work again? And then he comes out, not with a pistol, but with a baseball bat.
Yep.
And, like, the ninja does the Cole move where he basically fondles his wife.
And giggles.
And, yeah, okay.
Yeah, titties.
Can we isolate that, please?
They, like the trombone stinger, are now going to put in like fucking, what's that character on Wacky Races?
Which one? Dick Dastardly?
Like
Muttley.
They do like the fucking Muttley voice. Like he's like, that's the fucking voiceover they do for the.
Like a ninja would be.
Silent Ninja just loves a little giggle to himself. He's like, I got a woman.
And then, okay, so this is the stupidest thing in this movie, is Frank comes outside and he finds the gun on the ground, but he's also like, but I don't want to drop my bat. And so
now he's rocking a bat and a shotgun.
Yeah, one hand he's got a shotgun, not holding it properly at all. He's like holding it by the muzzle, and then he's got like a bat in his other hand, and it's like he's going grocery shopping and walking home like he has no idea what to do.
Yeah, he's looking like Bruce Campbell's gonna look in like season 5 of Evil Dead.
Just like,
I'm still doing this.
And then Hasagawa just jumps down like in front of him or something, and instead of getting the gun, Frank's like, I'll use the bat.
Yeah.
So he drops the gun on the ground.
Well done.
And then tries to swing the bat at a ninja.
Gets the first crack at the ninja.
Because a gun would have beaten a ninja. We got to keep this movie going. Yeah. A ninja's biggest weakness is bullets.
Well, it's not fair. He doesn't have a gun, so why should I?
No honor in that.
That's right.
Not like the gun I used to know how to use in the war. You remember when I killed all those Africans?
Frank is sad and impotent and wrecked, but he's not without honor.
Yeah. So Frank, this is where now the Black Ninja takes his turn, and Frank gets swiped, Frank gets beat, and then he puts his head in between like the banister and then takes his arm and breaks it through it.
Oh, it's rough.
But this is so weird, is like he lets him run off.
Yeah.
And Frank's like,
he's toying with him.
And then he sees Marianne has now magically been tied up on a tree.
Yeah.
And Frank runs over. He's like, oh, and he runs across the yard and then gets a ninja star in his thigh for his troubles.
Did you see how big that ninja star was?
Yeah.
It's the entirety of
Looney
his
Tunes.
fucking.
By the way,
it's seriously like a 10-inch pizza. It's huge. Like I don't know where Black Ninja was carrying this ninja star.
Like a full 8 slices.
Yeah.
You know? But I didn't like how he missed once.
And he goes, ah.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Curses.
He's supposed to be a good ninja. Why would he fucking miss?
Well, how about the fact that they like cut to his face and like reframed the whole shot and lit him to just go, oh, I missed.
Yeah. And
then that was it. Like, do you realize how much effort was put into that one shot?
They didn't do the thing where it goes, wah, 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 wah. And so then, okay, basically, he walks over and slits Frank's throat, and we're all like, thank God he's dead.
He slits Frank's throat from, like, his nipple up.
And the blood squirts out of the blade. Like, it's it's low rent, man. This is some, like, junior college shit.
And Frank's like, and then they're like, no, we're going to cut out.
See Frank holding the ketchup bottle and squeezing it real hard.
You know that on set, he was just flopping around like a fish for a good 3 minutes. And they're like,
he went for it, man.
Yeah, and they're like, don't worry, we're going to cut all out.
He's screaming for his dad.
The camera's not even on.
Yeah, like, Gola just looks like, okay, shut it off.
We got it. Don't tell him.
He's doing the thing like this.
The hand across the throat.
Frank thinks that's just the scene to kill him, and he's like, no, cut. So we go to the office, and Venarius is there with Mr. Parker, right? And they walk into the building, and Venarius is like, where are all my guards?
Half this fucking movie is people asking where the guards are.
Yeah, and then he walks over and sees a bunch piled in the elevator. He's like, oh, God damn it. Every time.
And he goes to the next elevator, and it's 2 naked guards.
And he's like, well, I don't know what happened here.
How come no one invited me?
And then they basically go, well, Venarius says, you should activate my visitor from Japan. And Mr. Parker goes, actually, sir, he's activated already, and he should be working right now. Cut
back to the slave village.
And Lincoln has arrived.
Oh. He has come bearing fire.
This master of stealth combat is screaming with a torch in each hand.
And kicking people. He's like, run!
The fucking Hanna-Barbera soundtrack, like they have access to it over at the Canon Films library. Because he's going, with like a torch in each hand, like shaking his head and everything.
He should be well into his work by now.
And he's burning all the huts and everything. He's like, you're all free. You're all free. Go home. Go home. Cut to Frank's house. Cole comes back. Okay, so now it's the morning. Where was Cole, by the way?
Who knows?
Gone all night. Well,
don't have to ask for the age.
He finally got away. Yeah. He finally got some time to himself.
He took that damn vacation.
He's like, I'm sick of this couple trying to fuck me all the time. I'm going to go get it out.
Get it out.
I'm going to drain some of this chi.
I would love to see, like, there was like a cut scene of him and Porn Round hitting up the town for the night.
Oh man!
Hey Cole, we just went and snuck into that office. Let's party.
That like Viva Las Vegas montage of just the two of them hitting the town.
They could have like a whole hangover series with Cole and Porn Round figuring out what they did the last night.
Just a tired, possibly drunk Franco Nero.
Just like in this movie.
Yeah.
So then Cole comes back.
He's walking through the house and he sees like the dining room has like the broken bulb on it and like a chair is knocked over, and he keeps going through and he's like, oh, there's my buddy Frank, bloody in a pool, just floating dead. This is bringing back a memory.
Okay, I have this written down because this is incredible. Again, Oscar-winning speech. Okay, so this is in flashback. They're sitting around in their red berets in the forest, right? And Frank goes, okay, the war is over, Cole. The goddamn war is over. Cole, what are you going to do? Frank, find a good woman and live to be 100. How about you? And Cole responds, he goes, I don't know, find another war, I guess.
Man. This is like the end of Rambo. This is how you gonna live, John? Day by day.
Day by day.
Oh, listen to this. The war is over. The goddamn war is over. What do you say?
What are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna find myself a good woman and live to be 100. What about you?
I don't know. Find another war, I guess.
Find another war, I guess. And it eventually brought him to a master of ninjutsu.
Good thing he's American.
Yep.
So Cole runs into the plantation and he sees it all in flames and he's just like calling for Marianne, cut. And then we see Cole doing his gang signs.
It's now morning.
Up. Yeah.
And he's doing his gang signs.
Yep.
And he's in his full...
donning the Storm Shadow outfit again.
He did have to freshen up on that Burger King scroll. He forgot the sign, so he's like, hold on. What is this again?
What's the fourth finger puppet? I gotta make sure. Is it a rabbit against the wall? I do on this one.
So then we go to the office, and Cole, as the white ninja, now takes out more guards.
At one point, he hits a man in the dick with a wood block.
Yeah.
He like sneaks up behind him, sneaks it up between his legs also, and just goes boop right in his dick.
And then he sneaks around the office, killing guards. We see that the pool room is fully stocked with women and men at the desk, so it is a work day. I mean, it's a Monday.
Talking about sound effects, there's this weird like Jason effect they do at one point. There's like a while he's going around like Jesus. He's really gone all in now.
Here's the thing, Bobby. At this point, I go, I swear to God that one of those guys might be Colonel Sanders Hitler from Raw Force. This is the office he works in.
Oh no, not again.
And Venerius is like, how is our jade trade doing? So then basically Cole drops everyone, like he drops in and everybody runs. Then he kills a man with a sword stab and pushes him in the pool. And then Mr. Parker walks out and says this line.
Is this the interesting outfit? Who's your tailor?
No. He goes,
pity he wasn't Japanese. He might have enjoyed his harakiri then.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
They don't know what how he got murdered. He didn't kill himself.
Well, he just saw a guy with a sword in his gut.
He's like, oh, I can't forget to use this one.
Oh, this is good. You know, he ad-libbed that shit. Was real proud.
He looks over. He's like, what do you think, guys? They're just like,
and
what?
Golem's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever.
Harry, who's that?
You hear the guy. You see the guy in the pool and just look up. And like, did you really just say that?
Yeah. He's like, dude, what?
Oh, come on. Our show
cuts.
is sitting on the side like, oh, come on. You can't do that shit.
You just hear, not cool, man.
There's just like a big blooper reel, like a fucking Smokey and the Bandit blooper reel of just him and Franco Nero just dying on set laughing about that. He made fun of your culture.
You can just see like a behind the scenes of a day on set with Bronson on this movie.
Harry Carey. Oh god.
The line kills.
But
this is kills, I tell you.
But this is great as Mr. Parker goes like, well, you didn't need to kill anybody. Venarius is waiting for you.
Yeah, it's like, you had an appointment, sir.
It's like, you didn't get our phone call?
It's just like how he didn't need to scale the wall earlier. He just likes to make an entrance, man. It's like they knew he was coming, he still did it.
I mean, men died for this. Men died for no reason. But then we go to a fight ring.
Well, we get this like weird cut of like on top of a building looking at a white car driving through the town. You're like,
yeah,
I guess our hero's in that?
Yeah, there's like one car.
Dude's taking an Uber in a ninja costume.
There's one car that's like, we don't do traffic. And this just goes around all the traffic because they're American. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And then Venarius is like standing in like an empty, like a Filipino MMA ring.
Like a Thai kickboxing ring.
Yeah, it looks like the Kumite from Bloodsport. They're sort of hanging out in that arena.
And then like basically Mr. Parker parks the car and then he leaves. This is the weirdest thing. Is like, I never thought I'd see a ninja in a car. And he looks at him. He's like, hold on, I'll be right back. And then he runs inside and he's like, Mr. Venarius, the ninja's here. And he goes, great, bring him in. And then he comes back and he goes, oh no. Because apparently Cole got out of the car and killed everybody. And then he runs back and goes, Mr. Venarius, the ninja killed everybody. And he's like, hold on, ninja.
Oh yeah,
ninja.
Just got ninja.
Ninja! Show yourself. I'm ready to talk.
So this whole time they've been doing research and following him and have big binoculars on. They don't know his fucking name.
He knows his name.
Yeah, I know.
Now he's become ninja, so he must refer to him as his profession.
Like Superman, you know, Clark, I know it's you, you son of a bitch.
And so, I don't know what you mean, Lois.
I'm not calling you Superman.
So then a couple small smoke bombs go off.
Randomly, just the...
and then Venarius is like, come on, gods, fight, and bring me my woman lady that you got for me. And then he goes, where the hell is my ninja? And then Cole kills more guards.
Yeah, there's a moment where he does a brief, very slow, very unenthusiastic Psy demonstration.
Yeah,
like
and
Raphael from the
like,
Ninja Turtles who just woke up.
It's like an opposite Indiana Jones. This scene.
And one of the guards watching this looks at the other guy and goes, what's this jazz? And then he throws the size into
by
these
the
guys.
way, guards holding guns.
They're just watching.
Yeah, they go, what's this jazz? And he goes, I don't know.
And he throws what looks like a handful of jacks at a guy's face.
Yeah, then he gives a guy blow dart acupuncture.
Yeah, a shit ton of blow darts on that guy. And then arrows. We get arrows.
Like, we got to do everything in Japan, like acupuncture, jacks.
It's like the opening credits
acupuncture is
over
Japanese.
No,
it's not.
Nope.
It's the oldest form of medicine from
Well,
China.
this is Canon Films version.
Yeah.
Like, what do they got in Asia? Jacks, acupuncture, size.
Look, there was an acupuncture place next to where we got the menus for the font, okay? I assumed.
He has little BBs from Plinko.
what? Yeah, that's what the jacks were. What's that thing they put where they put all the needles in you? Get some of those and put it in a blow dart.
You can like spit them at him.
He's hot cupping people running by.
Yeah, you didn't see the part where he hot cupped a guy. And so then, basically, we cut to Venarius going, ninja, ninja, ninja. And then Cole finishes killing the rest of the guards. And then Venarius actually says, Mr. Parker, I want my black ninja and I want him now.
We'll get you one as soon as we get home, Venarius. No, now. I was hoping he'd break into the song.
And then he just falls through a trapdoor.
Venarius was a bad egg.
Mr. Parker! I want my black ninja and I want him now!
And at this point, much like dudes in white suits getting murdered, ninja doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
Like, it's a meaningless word. It's been said too many times.
I don't even know how to spell it anymore since I've written it so many times.
It ceases to exist as a word in my head.
And this is amazing, is that Mr. Parker walks out with Marianne like tied up in a gun. He's like, okay, I got him. Now, ninja, come on out. And then Cole comes out.
And he takes...
He does the smoke bomb.
Does the smoke bomb. I appear.
And Marianne runs off.
No,
right?
the guy took an arrow to the hand.
Oh, that's right. He shoots him with an arrow. Marianne runs off, but then gets captured by the black ninja. But then Cole's behind Mr. Parker, and he's like, well, I got you, Mr. Parker, now. And he goes, okay. And then he just shoots him.
Parker. And as Parker dies, he's got this really shocked look on his face, just like, the fuck, dude?
This is like in Speed, Keanu Reeves is like, whoa, I saw this in a movie once, dude. Shoot the hostage. Because he just shoots him, and he's like, I didn't really like Mr. Parker. He was kind of getting on my nerves.
I'm real tired of saying Mr. Parker. He didn't bring me my things when I asked for them.
I don't have a black ninja.
Where is he? And
by the way...
Then Cole's like, well, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to kill you. And Venarius is like, oh, no. And then he just kills him.
With this giant ninja star.
Another personal pan pizza gets thrown.
Fucking, man. These things were huge.
And there's an amazing spot there of physical acting on Christopher George's part. As he dies, there's that very end of him falling. He kind of turns to the camera and shrugs.
He's like, I don't know.
Much like another thing from the Flintstones. It's like when the vacuum cleaner turns and goes, it's a living.
He's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I offered to pay him for his land.
He's like, fuck's a guy gonna do, right? Yeah, that's kind of. He turns the camera like, fuck me, right? I was just trying to end slavery in the Philippines.
And then basically Black Ninja has Marianne in the fight ring, and they're like, all right, it's Mortal Kombat time.
Yep.
And then Cole walks down to the ring, and then the Black Ninja just lets Marianne go, and they're like, you should go home now. Thank you.
I'll see you later, I hope.
And she's
like, call me.
Yeah. Hey.
Does she leave?
No,
she sits there and fucking watches.
She gets up on a catwalk, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And like to get a good view of the whole thing.
And we watch a very anticlimactic fight.
It's not great.
It's not good at all. And also Cole cheats.
Yeah, he throws blinding powder.
He does the fucking heel wrestler move as he throws powder in the guy's face.
This is when Cole finally busts out some real chop sake. And you could tell that it's the real deal because he's suddenly shorter and doing back handsprings from far away.
And you just see Franco Nero in one of the seats in the audience going,
he's
oh, that was
in the
good.
background just watching.
That was great. And so then he stabs the Black Ninja.
And the Black Ninja requests, let me die with honor.
And he cuts his head off.
And this movie ends like a Highlander film.
But before it ends, right, it goes to Marianne.
Right.
And it's like they didn't tell her what was going on in the scene because the actress has literally no reaction.
Nothing.
She sees Cole cut a man's head off, and she just stands there with a blank face like, are we rolling yet? Or
yeah, I mean, if you think about the context, too, it's like her side dick just beheaded the man who killed her husband.
And she's like,
whatever. It's a living. This needed a quickening, though.
Oh, yeah.
If Franco Nero just suddenly went, ah, and like everything shattered in the building.
Then we go back to the house, and god damn it, Porno Round's back. And he's like, him and Cole are going to go off on another adventure at this point. You know?
Need someone to drive the Jeep.
And so apparently he's accompanying, this is when I first write down Porno Round. And then Marianne's like, well, Cole goes, well, why don't you come with me? She's like, no, I have to stay here for Frank. I mean, you mean the guy that you couldn't stand being married to?
Yeah, I owe it to him to keep this plantation going.
Which is so funny because the whole other time he's like, I'm keeping this plantation for her. I want to get rid of it.
Neither of them actually wanted it.
And now she's like, but who's going to whip the slaves if...
Someone's got to hit Pee-wee.
They're not going to whip themselves. And Pee-wee's all healed now.
Yeah,
and we can't have that.
Pee-wee, those coconuts aren't going to pick themselves. Let's go.
Pee-wee's back on the plantation, which is on fire. And he's just like, at least no one's whipping me.
My feet hurt, Miss Marianne. Pee-wee, come on. We've been through this.
This one's for Frank.
And then Cole goes, I'll be back, and drives off. But that's not the end of the movie. Oh, man. We get one more scene.
What an exchange.
And of course Porno Round's there. They're at the airport, and Porno Round...
Yeah, Porno Round says, so who are you going to kill next, Mr. Ninja?
Okay, but the reading of that line is so bad.
You should play it.
He says, I will play it.
Okay, drop it in.
So, who are you going to kill next, Mr. Ninja?
He really, fucked up that line, and Golden was like, I think it was fine.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Or remember Franco Nero's like, no, that's my plane, so I'm, you gotta go.
He's
we gotta check the gate. I'm
movie.
leaving. Bye, thank you. These are my bags in this car. He goes, who are you gonna kill next, Mr. Ninja? Calls it Mr. Ninja.
And
Mr. Dr. Jones.
Who are you going to kill next, Dr. Jones?
And he goes, please, Dr. Ninja.
and Dr. Ninja responds,
My dear friend, a true ninja doesn't kill. He eliminates, and only for defensive purposes.
But then Hook shows up. Hook.
In his new job.
And he goes, you need a porter? And then Nero looks at him like, so Cole...
And we get a real Three Stooges.
And he runs away, and Cole says, but there are exceptions.
And then he breaks the fourth wall, and he winks.
Down
like the end of Raw Force.
Down the barrel of the fucking lens, and he goes, you got my money? Wink.
And this needed the That's All Folks ending.
Yeah.
But there are exceptions.
Porn round should have popped up and been like, that's all, folks. And then disappeared in the poof of porn.
And it does have the title of the movie come up, and it also says a Golden and Globus production. Recommendations?
Yeah, sure. Watch it. It's stupid fun.
Oh, I say this is one of the most highly recommended movies I could recommend.
It's a hard recommend for me, too. I mean, if you like exploitation films, you need to watch this. This is one of the heavy hitters of exploitation cinema.
It
brought the ninja to American soil.
It is one of the legit, like, worst movies ever made. Like, it is
delightfully
so bad. And the fact that Wikipedia says at one point it was critically well received, by who? Prove it.
Philippines.
There is no point when somebody wrote a good review and said, this is a legit action movie. I like it. Maybe Porno Round writing it. And maybe Golden and Globus coming out with their own film review magazine at the time. Like Canon Monthly, you know?
Yeah.
So you were not, you just not huh?
Yeah.
Not
about
for everybody.
To be expected.
Yeah.
It's not a...
I'm always surprised by the...
You know, that's a fair point.
I'm always surprised by the movies you end up liking. Like, you give a hard recommend to Raiders of Atlantis.
Great movie.
And a sort of to Enter the Ninja. So I don't know where you fall on these things.
You know, I appreciate that about Hughes.
Yeah.
I like
you
what
never
I like
can predict it.
Yeah, I like what I like, and I find things that I like out of some movies. This movie had a lot of enjoyable parts, but I mean, it ultimately is dumb.
Yeah.
It's
As a
very dumb.
complete piece.
As a complete piece.
It doesn't really work.
But as long as it's coherent and you can follow a timeline, I'm okay with it. When it starts to not make sense, it pisses me off.
But this does end up being one of those movies where, I mean, ideally, if you have a room full of people, it's going to slay.
Yeah.
Oh, if you could catch a screening of this.
Yeah, if someone's doing a 35 somewhere of it, like, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah. If not, order the Blu-ray. It's worth every penny.
Absolutely. Kino Lorber Studio Classics released this on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic.
Oh, I love it.
Like, it got a better restoration than it ever deserved.
Yeah, it is pristine.
So yeah, grab that Blu-ray, invite a bunch of friends over, and you're all gonna die laughing at this.
Do you hear that sound?
Yeah.
How do you think Bobby DeVito fit in this, Hughes?
Yeah, okay, I got this one. So there's a ranch that needs some helpers, and they hear that there's a nice single woman there, and there's prostitutes everywhere. So they sell the van, fly over to the Southeast Asia, get on this ranch, and they show up in full-on white suits.
Of course.
Big, long Dick...
They got him at the airport.
Like Dick Tracy hats, white.
Like a Panama.
And they start helping out at the coconut ranch. And they take up polo. And that's how they live out their days.
The chicks dig the polo. They really like it. It's a rich man's sport. It's the rich man's football.
Cockfights all you want. They get to watch Marianne undress.
It's the rich man's soccer. You make the horse do the work, you know?
So obviously there's going to be another graduating class at Ninja Academy. So we cut to the next year, the class of 82, where we see a short yellow ninja and a skinny orange ninja doing their hand signs, reciting the different points of being of ninjitude. At least you think so, until they interlock their fingers like you did in grade school to make what appears to look like a vagina, and they both start snickering, and they are kicked out of their school.
And by the way, that poof did not fit under the ninja mask. It was just popping out.
It is bulging, like a Jiffy Pop ready to go.
Hughes, I think you called it earlier in the movie. There's a reason people were going to the Philippines, and I think Bobby and DeVito were there, and it's because it's called Age of Consent.
Oh, yeah.
And,
there is none.
They were going on a nice sex tourism vacation, and the FBI is very interested.
Needless to say, Porn Round was glad to see them again.
Oh, boys, you're back!
Welcome back!
My two favorite customers.
I mean, DeVito's dad.
You had to run to the Philippines again, dum-dum.
Well, thanks again for joining us on another episode of The Grindbin. You can find us grindhousefilm.com, Twitter, we're at GrindPod, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can join our Patreon, patreon.com/grindbin, and we're going to be doing a bunch of extra stuff on there, hopefully, at some point very soon. You guys got anything else to add?
Nope. I'm going to do that Extra Life stream when Destiny 2 comes out, which is going to be October 24th. We'll probably promote it on the Twitter a couple of weeks before it happens.
Yes, we will. Bami?
Come pie!
Come pie!